Welcome to the Buy Pickles podcast. I really am happy to have Pawl Bazile on today. He is a writer for Censored.tv. He's also a director. He directed this movie called Living the American Nightmare, something like that.
Nailed it.
It's pretty good. It's all about punk rock. I watched it last night. It's about this dude, Mike Hideous. And
Mike Hideous.
Mike Hideous. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. And
may as well be.
You know, this guy is a proud Western chauvinist as well. And we're gonna talk some shit. Ready? And here we go. That's me, baby. Yeah. Me and Paul. Just talking shit, man. All right, so you are you're a proud Western chauvinist, such as I. Before we got into our little technical debacle, we were talking a little bit, and I think we were talking about what was it? It was what happened? What did we do so wrong? Something like that, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. I mean, I was at the first meetup in NYC. I'm one of the OGs.
Yeah. What year was that?
2016 at Tommy's Tavern.
You're the best.
In Brooklyn.
Keep going.
Which, by the way, you know that terrible Nicolas Cage movie, 8mm? So
he has so many terrible movies.
I love him. Nicolas Cage is my new hobby. I just watch anything he does, no matter how heinous it is, and go, oh, this is fucking fantastic. This man is losing his goddamn mind. And there's a movie called 8mm. It's about like snuff porn and stuff like that. It's really weird. Tommy's Tavern's in that movie as like the shithole bar. And
wow.
We went to that meetup, and it was fairly quiet meetup, but I didn't do anything there to note of, but we went there because it had a 1-star Yelp rating. And we were like, oh, okay, you know what? And Gavin obviously picked it because it had a shitty Yelp review. And we went there, and I'm looking at 8mm going, that's fucking Tommy's. That's the location of the first ever Proud Boy meetup. Ain't that some fucking shit? That Nicolas Cage has hung out at the same shithole that we did. Tommy's
Tavern. That was the first place right there, huh? That was the first spot that you guys met up ever?
Yes, in Brooklyn, New York, in a complete and utter shithole. And then the second meetup was on 9/11, and that was in the Ironbound district in, I believe, like a bar or restaurant that's closed now.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. And do you know the exact date of that meet?
I want to say it was July. I couldn't tell you the exact date, but I want to say it was either July or August.
So what area of Brooklyn?
The shittiest shithole area I could imagine. It was a horrible neighborhood. The second time I went there, my car got broken into.
Where, like Brownsville or something like that? Like out in like North or whatever, or North, wherever it is? Yeah. Something like that.
Honest, I can't even tell you. Like, I don't even know. I know that I never went there again after my car got broken into.
Where you're from Northern New Jersey?
I'm 20 minutes outside New York City. I'm in East Orange, New Jersey right now, which is the fucking hood.
I used to live in Jersey City.
Yeah, there you go. I was born in Jersey City.
I used to live on 4th Street and right next to Madame Claude's French restaurant. I forgot what the cross street was. But
it's become the new Hope. And now it's like every other stop is like a hipster restaurant or a artisanal bar or something. And it's like, I remember when I was born there was still a little bit of like scariness and edge to Jersey City. And now it's literally in the past 5 years, every hipster I know is like, yeah, we're looking at a brownstone in Jersey City.
Dude, I love Jersey City, man. It's fucking awesome living there. There's a lot of, it's a cool, like little, it's just like Brooklyn or or Queens or anything like that. It really is like a 6-borough, but and
it's all the traffic of New York without Madison Square Garden being anywhere near you.
Yeah, just take the PATH train, right? It's fucking beautiful. It's easy, and I like Hoboken too. Hoboken's cool.
Hoboken has some cool spots. Maxwell's in Hoboken is awesome. The Cake Boss spot.
Yes.
Is there.
Yes. You always see the guy. What?
The one guy at Cake Boss, didn't he get in trouble for raping a bunch of kids?
Carlo? Or whatever his name is? No way, dude.
Not the main guy. Not the main guy.
Oh, okay. Buddy. His name's Buddy. Great. Buddy. That's right.
Yes. Because I remember going there and we're eating cake. Like, this cake is good. They raped a bunch of boys in this fucking place.
Dude, are you serious?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I never heard that, man. But I always saw like the line. There's always a big line coming out of there, all because of the TV show.
I like the cake. I'm against boy rape, by the way.
Yeah?
We have to clarify all that now, because if I don't say that, then there will be an article about Proud Boy endorses boy rape.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's pretty close.
Boy cake.
It's pretty close to Milo Yiannopoulos, Milo Yiannopoulos said something similar.
You know how they're fucking lying when they never bring it up again?
What do you mean?
Like, what I mean by that is when that shit happened, it was everywhere because they just hated Milo. It had nothing to do with a search for the truth or, and by the way, I worked with Milo now on and off for like 2 years. This dude likes grown men, I fucking assure you. There is no boy anything happening. And he never even said in his joke or anecdote or whatever that he liked boys. He said, when I was a boy, I had sex with older men and it didn't ruin my life. Like, that was the thing that they're like, he's endorsing boy sex. Notice that they've never brought that up again when they write about him now, or if something comes up now. That's because they know they're full of shit.
He was on the podcast. You know that?
Was he? No, I didn't know that.
Dude, he came to the shop and did it in the shop. We did the podcast. You should go watch it. It's pretty insane.
I should watch it. When he was in Florida?
He totally fucks with me about my own sexual depravity. He immediately, he was like looking in my eyes, dude, and like going, you are a sick bastard too. And I was like, oh.
Listen. What? I'll tell you this. There's so much stuff I love about Milo, and there's stuff that, like, this is what pisses me off when I hear people who don't know him shit on him for the wrong reasons.
He knows me. Mention Bobby Pickles.
I will. I always say there's so many real reasons to hate Milo, and you people are hitting none of them.
Dude, that is absolutely true.
There's so many things about the guy you could really be like, he's a shithead for this, that, and the third. But it's
a love-hate thing. He's good. He busts your balls, but you could tell that there's something genuine about him. He's a good person, I think. You know what I'm saying? I think so. No, he's not a good person. All right, he's a piece of shit, but he's all right.
I'm not saying he's a piece of shit. I'm saying I know Milo. It's been 36 years in his life. I don't think anyone's accused him of being a good person. Somebody would have mentioned it by now.
I think he's good. He's a good person. Fuck it. He's good.
He's not the worst. He's not the worst.
Okay. We can settle on that.
He's not. There's people out there that deserve way more than what he got. And he didn't deserve anything that came his way.
No.
And it's
he didn't deserve.
And for all the.
Sorry.
The motherfucker destroyed my car 3 times. He put my phone number on Grindr once. He fucking puts my phone number out to people all the time, where I'll be getting like texts like, I'm going to suck your cock. And I'm like, and then I literally am like, I better call the cops. Because at one point I had like 3 active stalkers because, I said that I like to hang out with a men's club who likes the United States. So that means that you have to stalk and harass me and my family. I mean, it's a natural order of things. And I literally was like 10 seconds away from calling the police, thinking somebody like doxed me. And then I went, fuck, and texted Milo and was like, did you put my phone number on Grindr or do I have to call the cops? And he was like, don't call the police. It was me. And I'm like, oh, motherfucker, really? And out of nowhere, like I hadn't talked to him in like a month, and out of nowhere, he's just like, oh, this will be funny. I'll put his name in public and have gay men text him all day. And I'm like, thanks, Milo.
Dude, that's like such a funny thing to do, though. That's such a ball-busting, hilarious thing to do. I love it.
Yes. It was a great night for us all.
Take me through the beginning of Proud Boys, please. You started doing that. You were talking about that first meetup, that shitty place. How did you guys like all get to know that you were going to meet up there or whatever? Like,
well, the newer Proud Boys, who are mostly the guys who tell me what the Proud Boys are, and I have to sit there and be like, I was here since day one, motherfucker.
I know.
The newer Proud Boys probably don't remember that there was a time on the Gavin McInnes show on Compound Media when you could just say, "Hey, the Proud Boys are meeting up." Or like, we're going to do a thing. And I never thought it was going to become like a thing. I was like, oh, this will be a goofy thing for fans of like Gavin's show. That's kind of cool. And he's like, and he all the rules weren't even laid out yet. He was just like, we got to start like a men's thing, like the Knights of Columbus, but like punk rock and kind of funny in our own thing. And I was like, well, that's funny. And he goes, so we're going to call it the Proud Boys. And I remember at that time, he was so obsessed with the Proud of Your Boy song and I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, yeah, it's not that funny. It's kind of gay. It's whatever. But he said, and we're going to call it the Proud Boys. And I was like, oh my God, this shit's never going to end. And then he was saying, hey, go right now on Twitter. If you want to be in my men's club, all you have to do is declare that you're a Proud Boy. That's phase one of the Proud Boys. That's your first initiation. So we went, okay. And I went to Twitter at the time. And I said, yeah, I'm a Proud Boy, hashtag Gavin McInnes show. And then a couple months later, not even, everyone knows it all started from he was breaking the balls of his engineer, Rat, who is, I don't know if he was a virgin, but he had virgin energy. And he never wanted to go out, never wanted to meet girls. And he was just like a fucking terminal dork. And Gavin was trying to like improve his life and being like, move out. Don't live with your mom. Fucking buy a motorcycle, cut your hair, get better clothes. And he's like telling him all this shit. And then he realized, oh, we have a masculinity problem. And it comes down to people don't understand what it is to be a man because we don't have any time to spend just bullshitting with guys about like our girlfriends and about our jobs and what's going on in our life and how to do this. So we should start like a thing that's all about the stuff we want to do. Within a couple months, and he said, we will have meetups. We're going to have a Proud Boy magazine and all this other shit. So I went, oh, maybe, okay. Then he said, hey, everyone, I'm going to be at Tommy's Tavern. Meet up there. I couldn't even tell you a couple of the people who are still in the New York chapter were there, but I didn't really get to know anyone until like the second or third meetup. And then it became like a thing where it's like, oh, once a month we're legit meeting up with each other. And it usually was like the third weekend of the month, the third Saturday of the month. So we started doing that. It was like a New York thing. And then all of a sudden other people were like, yeah, we got our chapter over here. And oh, we got a chapter in Boston. We got a chapter in North Carolina. And we were like, oh, that's pretty cool. But it still wasn't a thing where we were like assholes and social pariahs and how dare you people get together in the name of like patriotism in the country until the day before the inauguration. I went down to DC with Franklin Wright, with Ryan Rivera and Stephen McCarthy. And we drove to DC to meet up with Gavin and a bunch of North Carolina.
Ryan's been in it too, like since day one?
Yeah, Ryan was working for Pat Dixon at Compound Media. So Ryan was in, and he would pop in on Gavin's show and do the Asian Gavin McInnes bit back in the day. So we all drove down there in two cars. Ryan borrowed some shithole, awful Japanese piece of shit. I had my Jeep, and his car, we got to a hotel, and his car like died immediately. We got to DC, and we were going to protect a group of girls that were going into the Deplorable, which was a Mike Cernovich event. It was going to be like the big Trump party the day before the inauguration. So Pam Geller was there, Lauren Southern was there, and a bunch of other people were there. So we were Gavin was like, they keep getting threats that they're like going to throw things at them and whatever. So we'll surround them. And so if someone gets hit with something, it'll be us, was basically what happened. So we went down there. I saw 3 flags get burned on the streets of DC that day. I saw about 500 people outside. This is the first time I ever heard the word Antifa in my fucking life. I'm like, who are these guys in fucking masks? And Franklin's like, oh, that's Antifa. And I'm like, fuck is Antifa? He's like, oh, they say they're anti-fascist, but they're like communist and they're fucking nuts. And I'm like, oh, all right. And they were trying to start shit with us. They were going around the corner, and the one guy was like phoning in, like, "Oh, they're here, they're around the corner," and blah blah blah. And Gavin confronted him, and Gavin licked the guy from his chin to his forehead, bit his glasses off his face, and spit it on the ground. The guy started screaming for the police like a woman. It was hilarious. He was, "Police, police!" And we're all standing there laughing. I think it's on video too, and we're laughing at the fucking guy, and I'm just like, dude, this is fucking nuts. Then we go to walk through the door, and some guy crosses in front of Gavin with his Antifa flag and is like trying to brush him with it. So Gavin took a swing at the guy. This is all on video. And I was like, wow, that was crazy. They're burning flags. They're throwing eggs. They're doing all this bullshit. So Gavin got into the party. We all thought, yeah, we're his guys. We're just all going in. No, they didn't let anybody in but Gavin and like 3 other people with tickets and the girls. So we all were like stuck outside with Antifa, and people are running up to us, go, "Why are you a fascist?" And putting phones in our face. So my tactic of my interviews became, no matter what they asked me, I just gave them a recipe for ribs until they got annoyed and left. And that worked pretty well. And I met a bunch of people there. And then we fucked off and just started walking around DC. And that was that. And I was like, wow, that was a crazy night. And I go to Facebook and I'm reading all like the comments and what people are saying, because people are posting the video of like Gavin throwing a punch at a guy, and they're going, "Brown shirts, they're literally the brown shirts, come to Washington, D.C." And I'm like, you guys realize if you just turn the camera like a little bit to the left, you'll see 500 of all the brown shirts you ever wanted to see, like burning flags, chanting, trying to intimidate people from publicly assembling, like doing things that the brown shirts would have actually done, rather than let's protect women and mind our business and fuck off and leave. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, brown shirts, wow, the liberals have really lost it. This is crazy. And flash forward to a couple weeks ago, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is on TV going, "The brown shirts, the literal proud boys of the Nazi party." And
I wish Jason McCrum could jump on here right now. I know. No, Jason McCrum, he's a Proud Boy. He does a great Arnold impersonation. I actually was talking to him earlier. I was trying to get him to jump on, but anyway, because yeah, it's totally fucked up, man. What the hell, dude? Arnold Schwarzenegger is a piece of shit now, Isn't that great? You could tell like he was actually reading poorly written screenplay monologue of some kind that was probably written by somebody else, obviously, and he was just regurgitating the words, man. And he's bought and paid for, just like so many of these Hollywood actors are just bought and paid for. They all are. It's so nuts, dude.
Here's what I don't get.
What?
I'm very confused by this, and I would love somebody to explain this to me. So if you're against racism or violence or whatever, and you have like and you go, and I don't like conservatives for that reason, and you have an actual group of conservatives who regularly denounces racism, we're multiracial, we've never been segregated, we've never been like all that good shit. Wouldn't you say, oh, okay, well, be more like these guys, rather than just trying to be like, whatever, they're secret racists who only allow black people in so they could be even more racist? And it's like, does that make any fucking sense? Like, why wouldn't you be like, okay, I embrace that group because at least they're openly saying we don't want racists in our group. And the problem is when one of these fucking like white nationalists, Scientology face weirdos fucking ends up at a Proud Boy thing from time to time, which is very few and far between, but I've seen it fucking happen more than once, and it drives everyone fucking crazy when it does. The reason they think that we're like them is because Newsweek keeps writing that we're like them, and they're reading Newsweek or New York Times or BuzzFeed or whatever and reading it and believing it and going, oh yeah, they're secret racists. Got it. Okay, they're multiracial, but it's to hide their white love or something. And then they show up and we're like, and they're like, right, guys, right? If it was all white people,
it's all projection.
We're like, huh?
It's all projection. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I guess, but once again, it's like they don't seem to want to really achieve a goal. And if the goal is we don't want conservatives to be racist, it's like, wish fucking granted, dude. I'll give it to you. We don't want that either. We don't want racist guys hanging out around us, or whatever. We don't want the Spencer guys, and they don't give a shit. They're not like, okay, well, that's good. They're just like, no, there has to be hidden racist agenda somewhere. And then they'll find like some dude who went to like 2 meetups who said the N-word in a joke and then be like, there you go. That represents the whole group. And it's like, does it?
No.
I don't think that's the way.
No, it does not. Dude, I have a story for you. I don't know if this inspires anything. I'll try to say it really fast. You know, I have a t-shirt shop, Fat Enzo t-shirts, and we've been in the paper a little bit here and there. They totally pinned something on us like it's crazy. Like if you Google the company, one of a Jew hating shirt, like an anti-Semitic shirt comes up. It's at 6MNE or something like that. 6 million wasn't enough, whatever it was. Anyway. 6MWE or something. I don't even know if it really means that.
That slogan.
I don't even know if that's really what that means. I'm unfamiliar with it too. I think somebody told me that it really means the army. It's like some army reference. But that's floating around on the internet somewhere, like totally blemishing my company. I've never made anything that could even remotely be considered Nazi content ever. I got a guy who I hired a couple weeks back. He's a young kid. I just, mentioned, it's a long story. It was like crazy that he had come and gotten a job with us. It was like a kind of like a godsend thing. And then he was here the first day and Swedish TV came in and they wanted to do an interview with me or whatever. And so he heard a bunch of stuff. I guess he Googled it later on because the day after in the morning, he called me and said, I can't work for you because we have different ideologies. And I heard his mom in the background, Dude, she Googled
that guy needs the Proud Boys like no other. When somebody's mom is like, and you tell him, and he's like, my mom says I can't work for you anymore.
Yeah, but they probably think that I'm going to brainwash his son into thinking, like I could even see they probably, I don't even know if they saw that crazy blemish that I was just talking about. Maybe just the connection with Proud Boys. People think all kinds of crazy stuff about it. So it like totally screws you up, totally messes up your brand as you as a person. Hold on.
This is
Okay.
I was going to say this is the craziest thing about what we go through that people don't understand. And Gavin likes to say, and I think it's perfect, we're not victims, we're targets. But I think it's fucking hilarious. I remember the first wave of really bad press that started coming out around the Proud Boys. My ex-girlfriend, who is Jewish, who I dated for a very long time, almost married her, and I knew her for at this point, probably 5 years or something like that. She hit me up on Facebook Messenger and was like, so I see that you share links from Proud Boys and this and that. And I go, yeah. And she's like, well, so are you a Nazi? Are you anti-Semitic and this and that? And I looked at her, I was like, we were together for how long? You've known me for how long? Have I ever said anything anti-Semitic or anything? And she was like, well, no. And I'm like, I almost married you. And she's like, I know. And I'm like, so you know me. Why are you reading shit from people who don't know me and going, well, they must be nailing this guy because it says it in, whatever, the New York Times. Why do you think the New York Times is right when I had a conversation with a liberal friend of mine.
Paul had the same exact thing happen to me. Same exact thing. Yeah. I mean, people that your own mother would question you. It's so weird. Just because
I've been on top of my parents with this shit. So I kind of laid out to them exactly how all this works. So every time they see it, they know how to read between the lines and go, oh, these people are assholes writing all this horse shit because they know me. And it's funny because it's when I'm bringing my black girlfriend home to dinner and stuff, my brother actually even said, that's weird about Paul. He really isn't racist.
I know. Oh my God, me too, man. Hey, listen, hey, Paul. Since we're sharing all the reasons why we're not racist, yeah, I hired another black guy. Now I got 2 black guys. How about that? Before I had 1, now I got 2, and I also have a Jew.
More, you got a basketball team going.
I got a Jew and I have an Asian. All right, and my cousin Frankie looks Spanish. but he's Italian. So anyway, I mean, everybody, I have a Spanish girlfriend. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. It's so stupid. But I have a joke here at the shop. You have to actually be part of an SPLC deemed hate group in order to work at Fat Enzo T-shirts. It doesn't matter which one. You just have to belong to one. So both of the black guys that have working for me, they are also in a group like the Proud Boys, but it's called ISUPK. It's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. The Black Hebrew Israelites. I mean, they would not like me to say. They don't want me to say black. You would want to just say they're Israelites. So, but anyway, you have to be part of a SPLC deemed hate group in order to work at Fat Enzo T-shirts. So that's a new thing,
because the SPLC is the biggest fucking hate group that there ever has been. Their business is scaring people and making people think that, there's white supremacy around every rock. And they say that something like 50% of churches they've deemed hate groups. And it's like, really? I don't know, man. When I'm just walking around living life and talking to regular people, I don't see a lot of hate group people. I don't see a lot of people who are what gets me, the blacks or the Jews. I don't see it. Matter of fact, the only place I see anti-Semitism is because I live in an all-black neighborhood, and black people do not seem to like Jews. Black people who live in the hood.
That's what I'm talking about, my friend.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yes. I have to explain to them, no, man, Jews are cool. There's no problem with Jews. And then I have to talk to them the same way I talk to a white nationalist guy, which is crazy.
There is a great awakening happen. This is so great. Listen, actually, Paul, I'm going to have them on next week on Friday. I'm going to have a prominent ISUPK member guy. I guess he's in town, but he has a podcast and stuff like that. And I'm going to have him in the shop and stuff. And what I'd like to do is get Enrique Tarrio on, because Enrique Tarrio is a Taino, Afro-Cuban. He has Taino Indian blood. They believe that the true Israelites were black, Native American, which, Taino Indian, that's what that is. And shoot, what else? Native American and Spanish, basically Latin, whatever. Okay. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. They just lump a lot of people in there together, but I guess all the minorities.
Have Enrique and the Black Israelite guys Mandingo stick fight each other on your show. I fucking
I want Enrique in here so they can just call him a horrible person for leading a white supremacy group, right?
Doesn't Enrique get enough of being called a horrible person on a daily basis?
I mean, he is.
Poor bastard gets it from all angles.
It's actually his birthday, dude. I don't know if you know that, but it's his birthday today. Yeah.
I barely know when my mother's birthday is, so no, I don't light a candle for Enrique.
Oh, no, I just so happen to know. It's the February 9th. I just so happen to know that. I don't know why. Anyway.
Happy birthday, Enrique.
I've known Uhuru. I've known Enrique for since day one when I got into this. I got into this in 2017, at the tail end of 2017. And
you're down in are you in Miami?
Yes, I'm in his chapter. Yeah. He was our chapter president, and then he became the chairman. So I've known him since.
Yeah, I knew Enrique from when he was doing the hurricane cleanup stuff, and I was running Proud Boy magazine. And I just got in touch with him because he was one of the guys doing the cleanup, and he explained how all the hurricane cleanup stuff went. All that stuff that never got published anywhere except to say that the guys in Houston had some shotguns and that we were trying to hunt black people in the middle of the hurricane. And it was like,
wow,
we're working with law enforcement. Those were the funniest clip you'll ever fucking see. This woman from ABC, who is this Asian reporter lady, went up to a bunch of just random guys helping with the hurricane relief and was trying to talk like she knew Proud Boy lingo. These guys had clearly had no idea who the Proud Boys were. And she was like, so have you seen the white supremacists who've been helping? And he was like, white supremacists? And she was like, yes, I know your elders have told you that you have to help with the hurricane. And the guy bugged out on her. It was like, lady, we're out here busting our ass. There's a white supremacist out here. Get the hell out of my face. And she looked so scared and just shrank in the background. And somehow that ended up on ABC. But she was like clearly talking about like she heard the Proud Boys were helping. So white supremacists were helping the hurricane. And this was like in 2017, maybe 2018, but I think it was closer to 2017. So it's crazy that it's like going back this far. Once again, I don't, other than just the fact that you can't stand the idea that there's a charismatic, patriotic, nationalistic men's club who goes, hey, we want to hang out and talk about how much we love the country, what we could do to improve our own lives, and what we could do to help other people. Other than that, I don't understand why it's such in the interest of people in media to be like, no, we have to mention how white supremacists they are. And even if they sit and talk with, I've done hundreds of interviews. And when they sit and talk with you, and I'm like, do I seem white supremacist? What about me is white supremacist? And they ask you every question in the book. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not getting where this is coming from. And then I have to hear from like Proud Boys who never get shit from anybody. Why are you cucking and telling them how non-racist you are? And that was the biggest shocker. Once it stopped being just like the OGs, and it turned into a lot more people because of Joe Rogan and Rufio and a bunch of other people who got us a lot of good press. Proud Boys started turning on other Proud Boys hard. Like you couldn't fucking do anything without a shitload of Proud Boys telling you you're a fucking asshole and a cuck and how dare you, until the thing happens and then they realize, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But that hurt me about this fucking group more than anything else. That most of what I was seeing online was a bunch of like new guys who didn't get what it was about anyway. People who were like, fuck Gavin, I hate Gavin. And it's like,
dude,
what are you doing
I got in this because of Gavin, dude. I was like a Gavin fanboy, bro. I actually podcasted with him like 3 times. So the first time, that was before. That was when he still had his show. He still had his show on whatever, the Anthony Cumia network. I was watching that.
Yeah.
I watched that at that time, man. I was watching that. I was subscribed to that and stuff. I totally, and then
and listen, I don't want to sound like one of these guys, like an old punk rocker who's like, oh, these kids weren't even around during the first album. I like seeing young people show up at like punk rock shows.
No, listen, what you're saying is totally true, man. It's happening right now. We're getting new guys that are totally changing the culture, you know, when we should really be pushing the culture and informing them of the culture. We sometimes allow them to come in and kind of shape it, you know?
Yeah, because they get 5 of their friends who, you know, don't know shit about fuck, and they just take 5 random friends and go, hey, we're all Proud Boys now. And then every time they don't like someone, they're just like, oh, let's just fucking shit post on so-and-so. And it's like, why are you shit posting other Proud Boys? I don't get it. And this is something that started fairly early in whatever with fuck we were doing, but it just seems like we never worked that out. And it ended up being like, there's a lot of guys who join up, have no idea what it's about other than like, yeah, we're going to piss people off and I look like a tough guy and all this other shit. And that's really not what it's about. And I like getting younger guys in the Proud Boys because you could actually say, all right, good. Don't listen to your professor. Don't listen to the feminism bullshit. We're going to tell you how to pick up girls. We're going to talk to you about, you know, where to go to get a job, how to make money, how to do this. And we can all support each other and help each other out. Never in a million years did I think like when I was running Proud Boy magazine, we would put up our t-shirts and stuff like that. And literally my biggest problem was other Proud Boys being like, look at this, he's just trying to get money. And I'm like, do you guys not know that we're capitalists? But do you guys not know that, yeah, we make money and I also am providing a service. I'm not asking you to go on my fucking donation page every 4 seconds, like some fucking people I can name in the conservative world who want a donation for everything. I don't like the, hey, just give me money and I give you nothing. I like going, hey, we got t-shirts, stickers, hats, whatever. And people were shitting on that. And while they're shitting on how we're just, the guys who started everything are just a bunch of money grubbing assholes. They're going, go to my t-shirt page. I have a Teespring account.
Oh, yeah. Don't start me on the Teespring.
Well, Jesus. That's the thing. Now it's a moot point because fucking you could hardly sell Proud Boy t-shirts anywhere.
It's not even, that's not even good quality printing at all. So
that's what I mean. Like, and now it's come down to like, you know, you have to have like a server in fucking Czechoslovakia with, you know, $8,000 a month worth of security on it to even.
All of my websites were systematically taken down and removed from the internet.
Yeah.
And Tifa made it happen.
In 2018, that's when I basically got banned from all social media. Like, you know, along with a bunch of the other guys, simply because they have posts that say that they're Proud Boys or that they support the Proud Boys. We have to take them down. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
But did I say anything crazy? Did I personally say something crazy or stupid? And especially like,
dude, my name was
gets arrested.
Yeah, my name was in a Washington Post article. That's it. It just said Bobby Pickles, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, boom, my Facebook was down.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, even if some guy you never met got arrested somewhere, like when the New York 9 guys got arrested, some guys in California who never talked to them had their whole Twitter and Facebook pages removed. That's fucking nuts.
And you said that you were, I
don't even know that guy.
You were actually roommates with Max Hare?
Max, I rented a room in my house to him for the last year and a half before he went to prison. Yeah. Yeah, it was a fucking shame, man. Max is literally one of the nicest, most good-hearted, weird little hippies you'll ever fucking meet in your life. And I not only did I rent a room to him, I vetted and got him into the Proud Boy New York City chapter. He reached out to me before he was a Proud Boy, and we got him into that chapter. And I got John Kinsman, who's also in jail with him right now. I met him at the Free Tommy Robinson rally. He was just some big guy smoking cigars, and I was like, I like cigars too, man. And we were talking. I'm like, are you Proud Boy? Like, why are you here? He goes, nope, I just go on the internet and I read stuff and saw that there was a thing, and it was down the street from where I was. And I was like, oh, come with us. And that day we went to John Sullivan's in New York, and we made him a Proud Boy too. So I
lived up there too, man. I was up in Connecticut and New York, like right at that time. I wish I had gotten to it right then. You guys are lucky.
Dude, the thing is, and this is the problem with like what's going on with like the new wave of Proud Boys. For some reason, it never kind of stuck that if you get someone in, you're sort of responsible for them the way they do with like motorcycle clubs or something like that. And I got Max and John involved, and now Max and John are spending 4 years in jail for some bullshit that
you should be feeling guilty. You are scum. And
I feel like a motherfucker.
You should go to jail for this. You should. You should put yourself in a situation where you go to jail for this. No, dude.
Like, I don't even need to put myself in a situation. Like, it's enough to, Jesus Christ, dude. I
mean, admit that you were at the riots and that you went inside, you penetrated inside of the Capitol building. Admit it now on national TV.
A ghost was there. I was transcendental meditating myself into the Capitol, where I put on a fucking Viking hat. But one of my friends actually said, "Were you there?" I was like, "Was I there? I was the guy in the Viking hat. Are you kidding?" And he was like, "Ah." And I'm like, I wasn't there because, like most fucking things that go wrong that I don't go to, I looked at it and went, what are the benefits of this? Is this going to go well? And then I was like, this isn't going to go well. I don't think I should go down to DC. And unfortunately, enough other people who don't give a shit or don't think that far ahead went down there, and everything got fucked up as usual. And all I could think about those Capitol riots were the guys who were like, yeah, we're in, and they did nothing. They took selfies and live streamed, which is pretty fucking gay, if you ask me. Like, what was your goal doing it? And the logic they must have been using is, well, we've seen Black Lives Matter do a bunch of horrible things, and they don't get in trouble, so we're not going to get in trouble. And I'm like, I've been around Proud Boys long enough to realize, motherfucker, it doesn't work that way. Like, yeah, Black Lives Matter could literally be like kicking babies to death in the middle of the street, and the media will defend them, politicians will defend them. If the Proud Boys sneeze in the fucking wrong direction, there's going to be 20 articles about how we're the worst people who've ever fucking lived. That's the way it's always been since the inception of the group. It's not going to change anytime soon, unfortunately, because no one wants to stand up for us. Even when Max and John went to jail, I know people in contact with Breitbart who were literally begging people to write articles that these guys are getting railroaded. This isn't fair. They're defending themselves. Here's all the evidence. And I'm still convinced 1 5-minute segment on Tucker could have turned that whole fucking thing around. Well, but they just go, we don't want to touch it because, what if you are a white supremacist? And it's like, oh my God. Like, I don't know what to say about that. At this point, I just feel like I'm in so deep, and I truly feel like I shouldn't do something. I shouldn't let other people control me if I know I'm not doing anything wrong, and I know I'm not doing anything wrong. So I shouldn't let shithead people who hate me anyway tell me, oh, resign from the Proud Boys because we gave you a bad name. It's like, you know what? I'm Sicilian, dude. I dig my fucking heels in and just say, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, but it's true. I go, do your fucking worst, man. You've already done everything you could do where, if you Google my name, SPLC comes up and this comes up and that comes up. So you know what? I'm in it now. And like Winston Churchill says, if you're going through hell, keep going.
Fuck yeah, man. I love that. I want to do a t-shirt for that shit. Damn, that was making me think of my business neighbor over here, Ed Lynch, great guy. He's ran for Congress. He actually ran for Congress in the same district that Laura Loomer just ran in. Okay, and he goes
into a wall in.
Yeah. I mean, he told me right from the get-go that it's a losing battle. It was not going to happen. And he knew it was like a D9, and he's told me a lot of things that turned out to be true, and I'm like, God, man, you're always right. And so he goes, well, I really want to get him into the Proud Boys. He's like, man, nah, can't do it.
Of course you
can't do it. Why can't you do it? Can't do it, man. You guys already have such a bad image. You'll never ever be able to reverse that. And I go, what are you saying, Ed? You're saying that once a group has you've been branded something, you can never change it? And he goes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once a group's been branded something, you can never change it. I was like, is this something I have to learn the hard way again? And he goes, yep.
well
so I'm like, what the fuck? I gotta learn this the hard way again? I don't want to learn this the hard way. There's no way apparently that we can ever change this, according to Ed Lynch, who is right 99.999% of the time. So fuck.
Well, the crazy thing is this: from what I've seen in the past 4.5 years, all this shit seems to ebb and flow because Proud Boys are maligned most of the time, but there are other little waves, especially when Enrique was doing the shit where he was doing like the flag waving ceremonies just to kind of like taunt Antifa and be like, look, we're not the violent ones they are, where he would send like one guy with a flag and then they'd plant the flag, go home, and Antifa would tear up the city without any Proud Boys in sight. That was shit that made us look good and made other people go, yeah, good for those fucking guys, because there's plenty of people who were tired of watching Antifa do whatever they want, and it wasn't a problem. When he did that move where he said, we're going to do a protest in the middle of Chaz and applied for a permit, that was a brilliant fucking move because, my God, almost immediately they decided, okay, this Chaz thing has gone far enough. And they tore the whole thing apart. There was no reason for Proud Boys to be there, and therefore it ended. Those things made us look really good. When Rufio slugged that Antifa guy who was like assaulting people while they're laying on the ground in the street, people love that because they're like, yeah, that's what you need to do with these fucking guys. Defend people. Show people that these guys are pussies. They can't fight. Show them that, hey, if you're going to cause trouble in the streets, you're not going to be we're not going to sit there with our thumb up our ass. And I'm not talking about Proud Boys. I'm talking about America, men, One of the funniest things ever from the Black Lives Matter riots, I don't know if you saw this video, was these fat bellied Italian guys standing outside their store, their deli, with guns, fucking screaming down Antifa, and they're like just chanting at them, like, hands up, don't shoot. And these guys are just mouthing off to them, like, get the fuck out of my store. That's what you need. You need.
What about in South Philly?
What happened in South Philly?
That happened in South Philly too. In South Philly,
that happened in South. Yeah,
they all try, and it was always guineas coming out with baseball bats and shit and saying, "Get the fuck out of here!" You know, I love it.
Bronx Tale.
Exactly. Now you're not allowed. Now you can't leave. Now yous can't leave.
Yes,
that's the exact quote.
And that was fucking. That was a beautiful showing of not Proud Boys or conservatives, or just Americans being like, you're not going to come fuck my business up, you little twerp in a mask. Are you fucking joking? Fuck you. No, we're going to stand right here. And if you want to do something, you're going to have to get through us. And it turns out, even when they have a mob of 20 people, they don't really want to get through those fucking guys.
Paul, you mentioned you're Sicilian. I have Italian blood as well. Is there something in our blood that makes us want to join groups? There's a lot of Italians, in in Proud Boys in general. I feel like, I'm in this area where there's so many. Everybody's Cuban in our chapter and stuff. I mean, there's some. Yeah. I'm in White Palm Beach, so there's more. There's more redneckish kind of guys. Florida people, and but no, I mean so many Cubans, and anyway, I just feel like there's a lot of Italians as well.
I think that a Sicilian trait is stubbornness, and I think that a Sicilian trait is the vendetta, which goes hand in hand with stubbornness. We are loyal to a fault until you piss us off, and there's no dimmer switch. It's a light switch. Then it's, okay, we have a lifelong blood feud vendetta where I will work my entire life to fuck you if it takes 20 years because you broke a promise to me. And there are some people that I'm pissed at, and some of them I forgot exactly the circumstances that made me pissed at him, but I just know that guy's a shithead, and if he ever fucking needed something from me, I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. That is a Sicilian fucking thing. And that's part of the reason why none of this shit is going to affect me as far as like, you should leave the Proud Boys unless somebody like takes over and goes, we are now something you don't believe in, which is something the younger kids don't get. I see a lot of the Reddit and 4chan type guys who will pop by our meetups from time to time and see what it's all about. And they'll say things like, you guys keep saying you're not racist and this and that, but the left will never like you. So just be like, whatever. Okay. What if we hate the Jews? What if I'm like, okay, but does it matter to you that we don't?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does it matter to you that I'm not racist? Like, if you keep calling me gay and I'm not gay, you're not pissing me off because I hate gays. You're just saying I'm something I'm fucking not. And I'm not going to be like, well, okay, I'll just suck some dicks then. Like,
no, you're right.
Not who I am.
Exactly.
Like, it's not who I am, and it's being that I was around since before the Proud Boys had a fucking name. I could tell you that the founding principles of the Proud Boys had nothing to do with, and we got to get the whites out there to do. Like, Gavin never said some shit like that. He never, no matter how many.
Yeah, he had the guy, the Pope, right?
Dante Nero, yeah.
Yes.
He kind of fucked us over, but he was always a really nice guy to me, and I think he fucked us over because people got into his head real quick. Like, people got into his head that you're part of this white thing and you're the token black guy. And I've heard him since say, well, yeah, Gavin picked me because I was his token. And I'm like, yeah, no, it wasn't because Gavin liked you. It wasn't because we thought you said funny shit and you're kind of a cool guy and stuff like that, which, I've seen him at meetups and stuff early on. He was always good to me. We always talked on the phone, but people got pissed. And I don't blame him because he did interviews with NPR saying how he regrets this and he didn't know what the fuck it was going to be. And now it's turned into like, it's all white supremacists. And he wasn't very conservative, but he was very into like pro-masculinity and men need to stand up for themselves and shit like that. And I think, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I would think that even the things that he says, still sound like they're in line with a lot of just the basics about Proud Boys. But he just doesn't want to have anything to do with Proud Boys anymore because they made him shit his pants by basically saying, we're going to cost you your fucking career and we're going to fucking, this is an evil white supremacist group you're part of. And he just like went, oh God, okay, yeah, no.
Well, I'm sorry, but the analogy is he Forrest Gumped us.
Yes. He Forrest Gumped the shit out of the Proud Boys.
He goes, I don't feel like running anymore.
Yep. He basically was like, oh, I don't want to fight for all this. And he, and me and him, man, used to have like long conversations on the phone too. And he's a really smart dude, really nice guy. He'll always make you look at shit from a different point of view, which is all stuff that I have nothing against. I didn't join a fucking cult. I'm not in this thing to be the most conservative guy who ever lived. I'm in it because I have principles. Many of them are in line with the Proud Boys. In other words, I don't see anything in any of the rules or charters that I would be like, oh, that's not who I am. Fuck. It's all okay.
Are you the most liberal Proud Boy, would you say?
No. Sometimes fucking out of your mind. Well, I have no idea. People call me a liberal because
No, I was joking. Sometimes I refer to myself as that. I used to be a liberal, I used to live in New York City and be a liberal. I didn't really care about politics, I guess.
I'm a conservative because everyone says all the things you believe make you a conservative. If tomorrow everyone said all the things you believe make you a liberal, I guess I'm a fucking liberal, but I'm not a liberal. Like, I'm not what the liberals would define as a fucking liberal. And I can't stand the smugness and that bullshit attitude that they have. And when I would point that out to my liberal friends in New York, like, well, I think you're wrong about this, about Obama, or that, about this. And, I think you're being a little closed-minded when it comes to, capitalism or something. People would, and to me, that's what, like, Western culture, and as far as I know, what Western culture is all about is free expression, capitalism, the right to defend yourself. And that's what the Proud Boys essentially are like, let's celebrate that. The only reason why Proud Boys get into fights is because people keep showing up at our shit to fight us. And then the news doesn't report on the people who showed up to fight us. They just say violence erupts at right-wing event or something like that.
Do you feel good, or do you feel like comfortable voicing your conservative opinions to these libtards that you live around up there?
It's never stopped me before.
Never stopped you? Are you just completely are they all around? Like, do you spend a lot of time in the city?
No, a matter of fact, I would, at this point, especially with New York, this is what I realized about the area that I'm in. I love the romanticized idea of New York. I love the Goodfellas, New York. I love the Taxi Driver, New York. And I'm from New Jersey, and I love New Jersey. I love the Tony Soprano, New Jersey. That's gone. It's gone, and it's not fucking coming back. Because when I picture the typical guy from New Jersey, and when I see like a conversation going on in a deli or something, I can't picture Tony Soprano or one of those guys who sit around making sandwiches all day going, let me tell you something, my friend. If some guy punches you in the face, you cannot attack him back no matter what. It's none of your business. If he's retreating, that means that you're committing a crime and should be put in jail. That voice doesn't say that phrase.
That's
ever.
Crazy. That's an actual law in Jersey, right?
Let me spin you a little yarn here, my friend. I'm living in New Jersey. I'm living in East Orange, which is the hood. My neighborhood, my town is 95% black. I have a black girlfriend, or I had a black girlfriend, who I was dating for like a year.
What happened with that?
We just broke up. But this was like during the start of the George Floyd shit. We went to a liquor store across the street to get to my car, where there was a like Rite Aid drugstore type thing, where it was parked in the lot. Some guy ran up with a big smile on his face, and she's around the other side of my car. I'm on this side, and goes like, hey, hold up. Hey, wait up. What's good? What's popping? What's good? And she turns, and I'm thinking he must know her the way he came up to her. And I'm like, looking through the window of the car, like, well, who's this guy? And she's like, hi. And he's like, what's good? What's popping? And she was like, I'm good. And the guy punches her in the fucking face as hard as he can. I fucking chased the guy through the hood for about a block and a half, and I'm hearing in the background my screaming girlfriend on the ground in pain, and I'm booking after this fucking guy, and I fucking end up going, motherfucker, and I turn around and I go to check on her because I was in a tough spot where I'm like, what do I do? Just run after this guy forever or leave my girlfriend alone where he could have a friend hop out of the bushes and like mug her or something or worse, you know? So I go back to her, get her in the car. We fucking go home. I had almost everybody in East Orange was in my fucking living room. Every black person who's ever lived in East Orange was in my living room checking on her and being like, what happened? Oh my God, I can't believe it. And every one of them said the same thing. Well, you know, with all the shit going on out there right now, you know, you're dating a white guy, you're walking down the street with a white guy. And
oh my God.
This is what's going to happen and all this other shit. So my question, because I actually like looked this up afterwards because I was so pissed about the whole scenario. Like I was about to hop into my Jeep and just start driving around the neighborhood to look for him. And I looked up what would happen if instead of him getting away, I caught him, I tackled him, and I start fucking pummeling him or whatever, I would be in jail. Because the prosecutor would say he was retreating. He was no longer a threat. He was no longer a harm. And yeah, he punched your girlfriend in the face, but that's a separate issue. You chased him and pursued him, which is illegal, and you assaulted him and held him here for the police, which is kidnapping. And I would be in jail for probably multiple years. For doing
no
that.
way, dude.
Yeah. And I looked it up and I checked with like law enforcement people I know in the area where I told them the story and said, what would have happened if I actually like caught him and got my hands on him? They're like, you would be done. And top that all off to bring it around to what we're talking about. I'm a proud boy. So that would turn into what the headline would be: Proud Boy assaults black teen who was retreating. It wouldn't be guy just assaulted his girlfriend. In the article in paragraph 14, it would say, allegedly he assaulted the girlfriend. It would never mention that my girlfriend was black. It would never mention, you know, that he punched her for sure. Like she has a big swollen eye and everything like that. It would never mention they didn't know each other and this random guy just punched some girl in the face. It would say white proud boy from a white supremacist group, evil, white, chase down innocent black teen, or like however they would phrase it to make it sound like, wow, the most innocent guy in the world was simply trying to get home. And this evil white man with an evil mustache ran after him and just beat the living hell out of him for no reason that we could think of. That's how that story would go. And everyone was 100% right. And when I heard that and I really thought about it, I go, I think maybe I need to move to a more enlightened part of the country.
Wow.
Because I'm like, I don't think the laws of New Jersey, despite the fact that I was born here, I've lived here most of my life besides when I lived in New York.
So weird too.
I was thinking either New Hampshire, Virginia, or Louisiana.
Oh my God, dude. I love Louisiana. It's my favorite place. Louisiana is my favorite place. If I turned this camera around, there is a portrait of Huey Long on the wall. I don't know if you know who that is.
And the news?
What?
No, that's Huey Lewis.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, people say that all the time. Jesus.
Yeah, no, I know Huey Long. Yeah, that's awesome.
Huey Long, he was the Democratic Trump, basically.
Yeah,
he was a populist.
I've been to Louisiana like half a dozen times. I have friends down there who live like out in the swamplands. Love New Orleans. Love the food. Never had a bad meal in Louisiana.
Love it.
Love it. I was like, you know what? Because I was thinking, like, what would I miss most about this area at this point? And I'm like, probably the food. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Louisiana has some pretty kick-ass food, too.
Yes, they do.
In Virginia, so I was like, I like that. But New Hampshire's calling me, too, just because I know it's cold. I don't really know anybody up in New Hampshire. But, Jesus Christ, there's no taxes on any. It's like a whole other country. It's unbelievable up there. So I was like, you know what? That might be the move, too. I have no idea. This is something for, like, the end of the summer, I'm really going to start considering, like buying a house and where to do it. But it's one of those things, man, where I literally had to sit and think and be like, New Jersey's laws don't represent me, and it's not about to get better. We're not going to elect, I don't know who, fucking Tony Soprano. We're not going to elect the guy who gets what it's like on the street level in New Jersey. And the guys that I'm meeting every day, not one of them is like, man, aren't the laws great? Thank God you can't smoke inside. Thank God you can't, that if somebody beats up your fucking girlfriend, if you do anything to them, you're the one going to jail. We need that. Who voted for that? Only a progressive who's never been in a fight or dangerous situation in their life would fucking okay a law like that. And that's what we got going on in Jersey. I don't know why. I don't know who's voting for these fucking people. And I know it doesn't represent me or most of the people I know. And that's the other thing. I meet liberals all the fucking time, naturally. But, I mean, most of the people, like, I was bouncing at a strip club for a while. They're all on my side, including the strippers, which I was shocked by. I had strippers who literally said to me, I've never registered to vote in my life. I registered to vote for Trump this year, which made me go, oh, yeah, Trump's definitely going to win. And I didn't think about, let's call them the extracurricular activities of the progressives in this country that might cost Trump. Because I'm going, if like hippie strippers are like, I am voting for Trump for the first time, to vote for the first time in my life, I want Trump for a second term. I'm like, in New Jersey? Oh my God. Then all over the country, they're going to come out to vote for him. I guess there were other factors at play, we'll just say, so you don't get kicked off your fucking live stream.
Where to? I think Louisiana sounds good, man. Don't discount Louisiana so fast. Fuck New Hampshire, man. New Hampshire. What does that have to offer? What are you going to go hang out with? What you interviewed Allen, right? Gigi Allen's brother, Merle, right? Where are they? Yeah, they're from up there. Those are the only people I know from up there. That it's desolate up there. I've been up there before. The middle of winter, you're not going to want to be there. Nothing. There's nothing to do.
It's good for riding motorcycles. The houses by the lakes there are crazy cheap. They have constitutional carry. They have no taxes whatsoever except for federal income tax and I think property tax. But like literally, when the first time I went to New Hampshire, like, I think I saw like a 4-year-old get out of an SUV and they were driving and they just like walked away. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then you see guys with like no helmets on motorcycles driving around. A 12-year-old sold me a butterfly knife on the street. And when I was like, yeah, I'll take that one. I swear. He goes, get the black one, pussy. And I was like, oh yeah, give me the black one. And I'm like, dude, I'm in a different planet. This is freedom land up here. This is fucking crazy. So, but if I had the money, I would buy like a cabin in the middle of the woods in New Hampshire and then have like a winter apartment in Louisiana, in New Orleans, in the French Quarter. Like if I just had money to burn, that's what I would do.
Me too. If I had I want to go there eventually and live there. I do want to do that. Eventually I want to live there. Yeah.
It's a great spot. The people there are awesome. The laws are pretty good. And I mean, shit, man. 2 weeks before Christmas, I was there riding an ATV, and it was 80 degrees. I was just in a T-shirt on an ATV, and I'm like, it's like 13 degrees right now in fucking New Jersey. I'm like, this place is warm. It's beautiful. The summers are brutal, which is why I would need to have my little New Hampshire log cabin that I can have my little tomato garden and fucking hang out and have all my shit. Like, that's the dream. So hopefully I'm working on it. I'll get there and have that one day, because to me, it's like, I don't want to deal with crazy backward ass laws. And also it doesn't shock people in these parts of the country when you say I'm conservative. They don't go like, what? Like they've never seen one of you before. I mean, I can't tell you how many Columbia University students I've had interviews with where literally I'll be laughing at them in the interview and be like, you're talking to me like you've never met, like you didn't know conservatives were a real thing. Like I'm an alien and you're just like poking me like, well, where do you come from? And I'm like, have you literally never met anyone who's conservative before? And no, the answer is no. We go to Columbia University. We have never fucking met one of you. You are a different animal. And it's like, all right, you know what? It's like New Jersey might be a sinking ship. New York certainly is. They're fucking abandoning that shit like a motherfucker. People are running away from New York, running away from California, and New Jersey's in the same fucking boat as New York. So I don't know, man. Might have to make some moves.
I know so many. Yeah, I know so many people fleeing New York, and some people are coming down here. You know, a lot of people are coming to Florida. So
a lot of people are coming to Florida. I don't know if I'm gonna live in fucking
you discounted Florida. Land, yeah.
I don't know. I would put it in the top 10, but I wouldn't put it in my top 3 or 4. If I'm going to live in some marshy fucking swampland, I'll live in Louisiana.
I'll tell you truthfully, I do hate Florida. I do. I hate it. I hate it with a red hot passion. Unfortunately, my stupid parents, they came here and damn it, I'm like a self-hating Floridian, you know? But we apparently have like a lot of freedom down here, you know, and I guess I take it for granted. So
you do, and the taxes are pretty good down there. I like that. But like I said, I feel like Louisiana is a better option with the same fucking climate. And it's one of those things, like I said, nobody to say, hey, I'm a Proud Boy wouldn't like shock my blackest neighbor in Louisiana. They wouldn't be like, I've read about you in BuzzFeed. Like they wouldn't give a shit. They would just be like, oh, good. You hunt? I would be the most liberal guy who's ever lived in Louisiana. I would like literally they'd be like, oh, you mean you don't shoot owls that are endangered? What kind of homo are you? And I'd just be like, I don't know. You got to show me. I don't know. Like that's literally the pace of Louisiana.
No, but it's liberal though in New Orleans. You know, it is. It's pretty liberal. It's crazy liberal.
Is the only liberal fucking, and even that isn't nearly as liberal as like liberal New York or and I'm not even saying I'm doing it to get away from the liberals. I'm saying I'm doing it because like literally the people in this state elect, they don't even understand the people you're electing don't represent you. They don't. You're supposed to be a representative of New Jersey if you live in New Jersey. These people don't give a fuck about what are New Jerseyans like.
We are in clown world. Don't you remember back in the day when during Bush years? What happened? That was what they said about all these rednecks that voted for Bush. They said that they were voting against their own best interest, right?
Right.
That's what's happening now with liberals. They're voting against their own best interest. They're brainwashed morons. There's been a switch. So back in the day, I agree that those who voted for Bush back then, Bush Jr., were fucking dumb. I do agree with that.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Bush Jr. I liked him better than Gore, but that's not saying much. That's the thing though. And I remember like having this conversation with customers, with girls, and with other bouncers at the strip club. I said, the best case scenario, if Biden does get elected, guess what? Your gas price is about to triple. Is that going to impact you? And they were like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, right. Guess what? Your taxes are going to go up. Do you like, how's that paycheck looking? Oh, yeah, they take a shitload of taxes out. I'm like, guess what? It's going to be worse. It's going to be worse. I'm like, with one guy, you are guaranteed higher gas prices. With another guy, you are guaranteed lower gas prices. Dude, I know what choice I'm fucking making. And
I fucking love Trump.
But Trump, his tweets. I'm like, I could give a fuck. I could give a fuck about his tweets.
Yeah.
And that's the thing the right has to understand when it comes to like the cat.
How you doing there, Paul? You doing good?
Oh, I'm great. I have lower back shit, so I have to like crack it every now and then. But the thing about like when I see the Capitol Hill riots and like the people who are the face of this shit,
you can't spell patriot without riot. That's going to be a T-shirt, by the way. I came up with that. Thank you.
You should. The problem I have with those people, unfortunately, is I feel like they don't get, like, there's a lot of young conservatives, I call them the noob right, who don't understand what we really need. And they don't really care. They just think it's really funny. They think that getting Trump in there is like funny because once again, they're reading shit in Washington Post about how Trump is this buffoonish nightmare. And they're like, oh yeah, he is a buffoonish nightmare. And we love it. We got to get
Trump is punk as fuck.
Hell yes. My first foray into politics, I was writing for a music magazine called Sugar Buzz, and I wrote an article called like the top 5 reasons why Trump is the most punk rock candidate ever. This was like beginning of the primaries, and literally nobody cared. That's how I know people really don't give a shit when they have the Trump derangement shit. Because I'm like, well, I wrote this before anything. Nobody called me racist for writing it. People mostly went, hey, you made some good points, good article.
I said like, something very similar along those lines. Right in like 2016 before the election, I said it. So it was like really, and you probably said it first, but I'm saying like a lot of people had some, also Milo said that he said something similar as well. And he said
I'm
that
sure he did.
So, but
it's obvious.
I saw it. You know when I saw it? Can I tell you this? I'm sorry for cutting you off, by the way. I want to share some. I like sharing things with you because like we have a lot of things in common. Actually, I have a background in punk rock, and I did a podcast called Dying Scene Radio, and I did that. I did Bobby Pickles podcast, and I was doing Dying Scene Radio, okay, as well, where I was. Interviewing these punk rock people and all kinds of different punk rockers. I've Millen dude, Joey Cape, like Ben Weasel. Ben Weasel.
Yeah.
Dude, I interviewed fucking Ben Weasel, man. That was great, dude, because I grew up loving Screech and Weasel. Fucking Cocksparrow. Dude, I have interviewed all the punk rock people, basically, just like you have.
That was the thing. When I was doing American Nightmare, I felt like I was dragging a whole camera crew from location to location to be like, you don't understand. This guy was the 3rd bassist in Christian Death. And they're looking at me like, yeah, great. I'm like, no. He played with them for 3 months and we get to interview
Oh my
him.
God, that's pretty crazy.
No, but it's like, and people were just looking at me like, okay. And I'm like, this is the best day of my life. You know, when I interviewed Arturo Vega, who designed the Ramones logo, and he he toured with the Misfits, and he did their lighting setup and did a bunch of other shit for him. But like that,
he's an artist in the Lower East Side, right? Something like that.
He was before he fucking died of cancer. But yes, he lived on the
St. Mark's or something.
4th Street and A near St. Mark's and right down the street from CBGB's. But that was the house that Joey and Dee Dee lived in with him. Every cool punk rocker used to go back there and party. And I remember taking a whiz in his fucking toilet, looking down and thinking, every cool, like Iggy Pop pissed in this toilet. Joey Ramone pissed in this toilet. Deborah Harry pissed in this toilet. Now I pissed in this toilet. Like moments like that were fucking huge for me.
Let me continue this thought. I was doing a pod. Do you remember? I don't know if you're aware of this, and like you're still, like I'm pretty much out of that whole scene. I traded the scenes. I traded one scene for another. The MAGA scene is another scene, I think. But it is a dying scene, man, because it's switched and all the liberals are like punk rockers now. But there's a thing called Fest. Are you aware of this? There's a festival, a punk rock festival in Gainesville, Florida. It's the largest like punk rock fest in America. It's the largest one, supposedly. That's what they claim or whatever. But it's called Fest, and they have it every year. And I went to it 2016, and I interviewed all these punk rock people and stuff like that. And I just noticed that every single band, every band would always, or were saying the same thing. They were all pushing Hillary Clinton, and they were saying that, like, you know, it just didn't make sense to me. I was thinking, like, wow, punk rock is about anarchy. Really, it's about no government.
Establishment.
No government, and these guys want the largest government possible. Yeah. What the fuck?
More of the same. Control my life more.
Made no sense. I don't know why, but they really sucked their heels into, or whatever. They really got into the mind, the psyche of these punk rockers and twisted it all around.
It's because the fucking commies co-opted punk rock. If you listen to Johnny Rotten,
you're right.
Pro-Trump as fuck. If you listen to Johnny Ramone, who was conservative. Now, Joey was very liberal. But that's the thing. They coexisted in the band, disagreeing with each other because one guy just believed one thing, the other guy believed the other thing. If you listen to every guy in the Misfits, except for like Dr. Chud, is Republican as a motherfucker. Danzig is fairly conservative guy. He's not very political, but everything he's ever said has been fairly conservative leaning.
Dude, Michael Graves, I was texting him and I wanted to get him on. He knows who you are and stuff like that. I wanted to like try to get him to join the show, actually.
I don't think he's going to say many nice things about me. Me and Michael had a bad falling out.
Oh, that's why he didn't respond back to my text.
Here's the thing I'll say.
He said you're Michael. A very talented person. That's what he said. That's what he said. Oh shit! I don't want to. Okay. But well, so what? What happened
with Michael Graves?
Yeah.
Well, when I was making American Nightmare, naturally I invited Michael Graves to be in it, and I think he really resented the fact that I was making that movie because I think that this is my opinion. I think he thought he should have been a way bigger name than Mike Hideous. And why is Mike Hideous getting this? And I believe I even tried to explain.
Can I say why? Can I ask that too, man? Because why? I really don't even know what is it called? They're the what? The something hideous? Nightmare? No, the something hideous.
Empire
What's the name
Hideous.
of the band? I never heard of that band before, and I never heard
Hideous
of him.
It was a goth rock band. They weren't even like a punk band.
Okay.
Here's the thing, Mike Hideous. Oh, my whole thing is this. I like underdog stories, and Mike Hideous was a guy who his entire life's goal was to be like Glenn Danzig, and he got to know a bunch of the guys in the Misfits and around that scene. And then as life went on for Mike, he ended up being the singer of his favorite band of all time for the summer of 1998. And that was it. And it turned into the worst thing he ever did in his life. And so that was why I was like, well, that's a way more interesting concept than like, Michael Graves is a fucking tremendous singer and a great frontman. But I thought it was way more poetic that this guy only got to do this for a little while, never really got credit for it, never went as far as he should have with it. And then the whole thing fell apart around him. Bring up a picture of him, because Mike Hideous.
I am right now. I am actually. All right. I'm he was a very gothic guy. He was very into the theatrics. Other guys from the Misfits. I like the green one right there. Is my favorite all-time picture of Mike, and the fourth one in the first row. Yeah,
that one. Yeah. Now that picture, I believe the story is actually in my movie. That was taken in Mexico. And they loved it so much that they put it up on the wall in the dressing room that he played in. And the next summer when Graves went to go tour with the band, because he rejoined the band at that point, that picture was on the wall. And apparently, from what I heard, Michael went up to the picture and ripped it off the wall and was really mad because he looked at Mike as, you took my fucking spot. Now, my whole thing was, nobody's in the band anymore. Why don't we all get together and talk about what happened with the band? Graves was very wishy-washy on the whole thing. He didn't. Oh, my headphones might be going out in a minute. Do you hear me still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Then we're good. But
can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah. Yeah. Graves was really wishy-washy on the whole idea. He was afraid.
Just get close. I guess just get as close as possible to the.
How's that? Better?
Yeah.
Yeah, Graves, I think, was afraid Jerry was going to sue him, and he was very and I said, listen, you don't need to talk shit about Jerry in this fucking movie, man. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I just want you to talk about your experience and how you felt when Mike came in, and that's what we need from you. And talk a little bit more about like what it's like to live your life in this scene and how you don't always get what you want in it, which was really the theme of the fucking movie. He told me yes, then no, then yes, then no. And then his producer for some radio show invited me on Michael's show to be interviewed. And I was like, oh, okay. It was like out of nowhere. And I remember I called up and I said, hey, what's up? It's Pawl Bazile. I'm here. And Graves literally like hung up on me. He said something like, do you have any questions for whatever band was there? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he was just like, well, we got to clear the lines for that. Bye. And hung up. And then I checked my email and he wrote like a really nasty email to me about like, stay out of his business. If he wants anything to do with me, stop talking to my friends, all this other shit. And I'm like, this dude called me. I didn't call him. And you know what? The more I thought about it, I was like, you're only Michael Graves, dude. Like, not even like as an insult, but at first, if he was just like a receptive guy, I would have been like, I can't believe Michael Graves is in my movie. But because he made it so difficult, it turned me off, where I was just like, who the fuck are you, man? You're not like a big celebrity or anything like that. You're just the guy from the Misfits once. So fucking chill. So like me and him after that had a kind of a contentious relationship. Then he went on his radio show again after we did Chiller Theater, and he told a lot of fucking lies about me, like said that I was charging people for my autograph, which was fucking preposterous. Said that I said all this crazy shit about me, and his fans ended up emailing my mother and sending her death threats. So I kind of have a little bit of resentment against Michael for that. Not to say he wasn't a talented guy. Not to say I don't like some of his solo work, and the guys also in his band were really cool, but I kind of feel like he was controlling the guys who were talking to me with a fucking iron fist. And at the end of the day, it's like, dude, it would have been so easy. And I even said, dude, we got Bill Ward from Black Sabbath is in this. Peter Steele is in this. The guys from fucking Danzig are in this. The guys from Overkill are in this. Why is it so hard for me to get fucking Michael Graves in my goddamn movie of all people on God's green earth? And the guy just, I don't know, I felt like he big timed me. And then when things weren't going his way, he kind of went on his radio show, shit talked me, which resulted in his fans threatening my mother in her email. So I didn't enjoy that or appreciate it, and I haven't talked to him since. But I will say this for him. Despite our differences, I thought it was pure balls for him to, the way he did, go on his social media and say, yeah, I'm a Proud Boy, and show up on the Proud Boy stuff. Because for a guy who is as high profile as he is, where he's like a mid-level type musician, for him to be like, no, fuck it. These guys aren't doing anything wrong. Why should I fucking steer clear of this bullshit? That's a balls move, man. And he felt it. He got punished for it. I don't know if that was because he was just ignorant that if he posted this, he would get fucking all his shit taken down. But I have to say, you know, whether it was intentional or not, that was fucking crazy when they fucked over Michael.
Yes, it was.
But that's the thing. He's always been conservative. And by the way, Hideous was too. Oh, and to answer your original question, the other reason why Hideous was the subject of my movie is because he was accessible to me. If Michael Graves was a good friend of mine who fucking was like, let's make a movie, I'd make the movie about him. But, you know, and at the end of the day, I was like, the Mike story is actually really more complex than Graves, who was like a 19-year-old kid who they were like, you know, we could control you, so let's get you in the band because you're 19, you'll do what we say. And then leaving the band because he went to hockey camp and all this other shit. And then to me, the Hideous thing was like this coming of age, like he realized that all the shit he wanted his whole life wasn't all the shit he really wanted. Whereas the Graves story, it's like, I don't know, Michael, if you want me to make a documentary about you, fucking call me.
Dude, now I see how I stupidly did this. This is so funny. I've just been wanting to get him on the podcast, and then I like stupidly asked him. I said, you come on at the same time as you, and he probably thinks I'm some mastermind trying to organize like you guys fucking have it out. It's hilarious. I didn't even think that.
If Michael, I would highly recommend you having him as a guest. I'm sure he'd be a really interesting guy to talk to, despite how I might feel about how he kind of treated me. Where
I mean, you sound like you deserved it.
Here's the thing. I'll give you a great example from the movie. So in the movie Living the American Nightmare that I directed in 2011.
2012, it came out 2012, and then in 2016 it won an award.
It won like best trailer at the Asbury Park Music and Film Festival.
Okay.
But here's the thing about, okay, so Peter Steele from Typo Negative, big 7 foot tall guy, real bassy voice. He sang Summer Wind or Summer Breeze for
he's awesome.
He's unbelievable. I knew Peter for a very short time at the very end of his life, and my documentary has the last interview he ever gave because he was under house arrest in Pennsylvania. And Peter is a fucking huge name in music. Peter didn't have to even fucking spit in my direction if he didn't want to. When I met him, we hung out for 16 fucking hours. He went over every story, asked me questions about my life. I asked him questions about his life. We just hung out. We drank chocolate milk and ate fucking Hostess coffee cakes together. Then he gave me a list of fucking people that he did not need to give me. Some of the names on that list were like Phil Anselmo from Pantera and the guys from Black Sabbath. Like at the time, it's like I was like 24. Who the fuck am I to even be talking to Peter Steele, let alone Peter going, bro, I'm going to make this movie a movie for you. I'm going to make this shit happen for you. He had no interest, no financial interest, and no reason to give a guy like me a boost, but he went out of his way to do it, and I'll never, ever fucking forget that guy for that, because no matter what I do or where I go in my career, I owe a career to Peter Steele, because he was that fucking nice to reach out to some douchebag from New Jersey that he didn't have to reach out to. He fucking answered the phone. He was a nice fucking guy, and he bent over backwards when I never asked him to. I would have been happy with a 20-minute interview. He gave me 3 fucking hours and gave me great shit that ended up in the movie eventually. Plus, he gave me a list of people I didn't ask for. He's like, you want to talk to Bill Ward from Black Sabbath? And I'm like, do I? And he's like, you want to talk to Phil Anselmo? I'm like, yeah. Do you want to talk to Johnny and Kenny from Typo? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, would you ask Phil about why he did the Hitler salute?
No, you know what? It was funny when I never got to interview Phil because of a bunch of complex reasons, including his manager. But when Phil did the Hitler salute, it was a couple years after my movie, but on stage with him was Steve Zing from Danzig and Sam Hain, who I wouldn't call myself close with him, but it's like we'll text back and forth from time to time, and I got close with him. We're from the same neighborhood in near Lodi, and Johnny Kelly, who plays drums for Danzig and played drums for Typo, were the guys who had to walk on stage and like walk him off all drunk. And I called Steve that night and I'm like, Steve, what the fuck is Phil doing? And he goes, dude, Phil's not a fucking racist. Like, it was an inside joke that we were calling white wine white power all night. And we're like, yeah, pour some more white power in that glass and all this other shit as like a behind the scenes goof they had. Phil got too drunk and he went out and he thought for some reason that everyone knew the inside joke and started yelling, yeah, and he was, I think, holding a wine bottle. I might be mistaken, but he was yelling, I'm on that white power, right, guys? Yeah. And he had no idea what he was doing. He was plastered. And poor fucking Johnny Kelly, who was the nicest guy in the world, had to walk out with his smile like, and like walk him off. And I see Steve walking him off. I'm like, Steve, what the fuck were you and Johnny doing on stage while Phil's screaming white power at and he's like, dude, it's not like that. Phil is the least racist guy I've ever met. And he's telling me, but he lost his band because of that. He got fucked up. But
oh yeah.
But anyway, yeah, man. I mean, you know, that's the point I was making with Pete is this motherfucker didn't have to do anything for me or for Mike Hideous or for anyone, because if he wanted to, he just, you know, gets back on tour, puts out a new album, and fuck these guys. I'm not Rolling Stone. I'm not fucking Steven Spielberg. You don't need to your career doesn't depend on this. But his big thing, and after he died, unfortunately, his friends told me this. He goes, you know why he helped you like that? He always, and he made comments about me to people, apparently, where he said things like, yeah, we got to help them because he's young. He's a new filmmaker. You always got to elevate the people below you, which is something that I wish the conservative guys had more of. Not what can you do for me, but, oh, this kid is talented. Let me teach him the way. Let me show him how to do this right. Let me make a name for him. Well, and I love doing that. And I see so many people who have big names in the conservative world who just resent the fact that anyone else is trying to do what they're trying to do, as opposed to the guys who go, you know what? I'm a big name. I'll appear in this guy's movie, or I'll show up on this guy's podcast, or I'll do whatever, and his podcast will be worth that much more because I showed up. And then next time I'm on, it might be worth a little more, and it might be worth more. And then that guy might be able to help me and help the scene.
No, I have friends that do that. Yeah, Milo did that. Milo even mentioned that kind of thing, actually.
It's nice that he did that for you. Great.
Yeah, I had Roger Stone on. I went to Gavin's house. Not to sit here and like tell you all the different people I podcasted with or whatever, but yeah, I think that there's an element of that though with people though. Yeah, no, I think that there's definitely people do that. You know, they.
Well, that's the thing. Michael Graves doesn't owe me fucking anything. But what my point being is, you don't owe me anything, but you didn't have to stand in my way either. You didn't have to like motherfuck me when I was nobody and I was like up and coming and working my ass off to try and make a name for myself and make him look good on my fucking thing. He could have said, no, thank you. I will just never be interested in doing this because of these reasons. And we would have parted friends instead of cock teasing me, emailing me every 3 weeks and being like, okay, I'm down. And then not responding and then coming back in a month and being like, okay, maybe we should do this. Oh, maybe we shouldn't. Oh, I'm having reservations. Oh, now I want to. And then motherfucking me telling his people in his band don't associate with me anymore because he doesn't like Mike Hideous. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And when we saw each other at Chiller Theater, we didn't say a word to each other, which I was fine with. But if you listened to his show the next day, you would have thought that I ruined his fucking life by making this goddamn movie. And I remember him saying repeatedly, for no reason, the movie hadn't been released yet. And he was saying, this movie is nothing but a bunch of failures. This movie's about failure. And then he just took a long pause and went, and I have not seen this movie yet. And I just started laughing, going, I want to put that on the poster. This movie is about failure. I have not seen this movie yet. Michael Graves. But yeah, man, I mean, I would absolutely, at this point in my life, I would talk to Michael. If you asked me the same question 6 years ago, it would probably be a pass. But if, talk to Michael first. But I mean, I have no issues talking to him, but I definitely think that he's like a weird kind of paranoid-y guy. And I feel like if you say, hey, Pawl Bazile's going to come up, he'd be like, oh, are you going to ambush me, shit on living the American nightmare?
No, I would not have done that. I wasn't even thinking that at all.
No, but that's the thing. It's
wow,
like
I'm so retarded.
You would think that me and Michael would be in agreement with most things because politically we're aligned, musically we know the same people and we're aligned. But I don't know. He has a weird, and it's funny because it's
Hold on one second. Let me keep going. I'm gonna by the way, let me ask you 1 second. Do you have another pair of headphones, like a regular wired one, by any chance? Or no? I'm gonna grab a beer really quick.
Do your thing while I plug in. Can everyone hear me? Yes. Can I hear anyone? How do I look with my Michael Dukakis on the floor of the fucking 1988 Democratic Convention? How do I look?
I am back. Oh, that's great. I love those. There you go, man.
My bright orange. Do you hear me better, or is this better for everybody?
I was hearing myself back from your
from my speakers. Okay, cool. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, if Michael was down, but I would never push it because I don't need to ever talk to Michael again if I don't have to. But if you just thought it would be interesting for us to talk, I mean, I am re-releasing the movie very soon, and it's going to be available for digital download. Matter of fact, I'm doing some small recuts to the movie, basically adding footage, not taking anything away. Because, I mean, shit, dude, I put my movie back on sale in December, like early December, and I was sold out by mid-December. I sold like over 100 copies, like that.
Oh my God! I gotta send you a movie. Hold on 1 second. Let me show you this.
All right, let me give my address out on the air. Everyone, come to East Orange, New Jersey. Stand on the corner by the Checkers in front of the KFC, and some guy named Tron will meet you there.
Look at this movie, man. Maybe you could help me. maybe you could help me try to find this guy. Hold on, let me put it here.
Bronx Paradise. I never
Bronx
heard of
Paradise.
it. What is this?
So, this right here, I got a whole box full. I'll show you a whole box. God damn it, it's totally insane. And then with a letter. And here's a letter. Do you know who Tina 40 is?
No.
Oh, she's on Twitter. She's the chick that goes. She's the Italian girl who goes, Trump 2020 motherfucker, fuck out of here.
All right.
She's awesome, dude. She's awesome. You haven't looked her up, dude. It's Tina 40, FORTE, but I think her Twitter handle is Tina and then the number 40. Anyway,
they don't let the likes of me on Twitter.
Oh, me too. I mean, you know, I got a new one, but yeah, they haven't crushed that one yet.
My company Twitter is on right now.
That's me too.
Yeah, American Waste.
They can't come after your company somehow?
I'm sure they will. Well, once they see the type of stuff I'm posting and products I'm selling, I'm sure they're not going to be happy, but figure, hey, give the old college try, right?
Yeah, stay close as possible to the computer. It has the best sound.
Yes.
And then I got to send you, man, I'm going to send you a microphone, man. All right, look at this. Listen, it says, "Hi, Bobby. My name's Wayne Gurman. I am close friends with Tina 40 from the Bronx. I just got back from D.C. last weekend where I stayed at the Hotel Harrington. I want to thank you and your organization for standing up for the future and freedom of our great country. Please accept my film as a token of appreciation. I want nothing in return. Feel free to sell it in your t-shirt shop and keep the proceeds as a token of my appreciation. I made this film a few years back. It's a true story based on my life in the Bronx as a low-level criminal character. It's collecting dust in my garage, and I prefer people to enjoy it and get a few laughs. I have about 1,500 more copies, so if you get rid of these, I'll be happy to send more. I'm easy to find on the internet. Take care and keep fighting the good fight. Wayne Gurman." Now, let me tell you something. He is not easy to find on the internet.
Really?
He is not easy to find.
Directed this movie, or he's?
It's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. I mean, I swear to God, and I'm a guy who loves. I don't like
Looks like
fiction.
you get up those festivals with that fucking shit.
I don't like fiction. I'm not like a fiction person. I like documentary movies, documentary film, like your documentary. And I like movies about real things like Goodfellas, Casino, Bronx Hill. They don't technically have to be about mafia, but I like a lot of mafia movies. Anyway, this is great movie. I got to send you one, man. I mean, you got to watch it. You got to watch it in the DVD player. It's about him being a low-level criminal character in the Bronx and everything he does, and it's just so good the way it's written and everything. And I'm trying to get a hold of this guy, man. So maybe you're up there. If there's any way you could find this person, Jesus.
I will.
Wayne Gurman.
Wayne Gurman. I'll check him out. I'll see if he's around.
It's so hard to find him.
I'll go door to door in the Bronx.
I've been asking everybody from New York if they could help me.
You know what's funny? So recently I did an interview out of the fucking blue with some guy from Iran. Okay? And I did it because I'm like, I will never be talking to somebody from Iran in my life. I don't know what this is all about, but I'm the kind of guy when life takes a quick left to, hey, fuck it. Let's see what goes down that road for a little while. So I talked to this guy. He's a very nice guy. Apparently in Iran, they're obsessed with the new Steven Seagal movies. Like the shitty Steven Seagal movies that nobody sees. The guy was going on and on about Steven Seagal because he goes, "You look like Steven Seagal." I'm like, oh my God, Jesus, I have to lose weight.
Do you?
I don't think I do, but he was like, "You look like Steven Seagal."
He's from Louisiana, right?
I think he is. Yeah, he had the police show.
He was like a sheriff in Louisiana. Dude,
yeah,
you can go down there and be a doppelganger for him, bro.
And he's a mess. And he recently did a horrible movie called General Commander, which makes no fucking sense. And I said, "Oh yeah, General Commander," right? He was like, "General Commander," and I'm like, this is who's watching Steven Seagal's movies? Like guys in Iran who are like, there are sanctions on us. We can't leave the house. We can only trade with Afghanistan. And our only movie is General Commander. And I'm like, wow, Iran sounds like a living hell. I can't.
Oh, what's going on with your... I don't know what's going on with your... Sounds crazy now. Hello? Oh, wow. It sounds nuts. Take the headphones out now. Hello? You sound like a robot. You sound like a robot. Well, you know what? I think that we could probably keep talking forever. You sound like a robot. It's insane. When you listen to it later on, we're gonna get all this together, man, so you could jump on all the time, bro. But you don't understand anything you're saying whatsoever. Your computer's probably malfunctioning at the moment, dying. Battery's probably dying. I don't know. I'm going to, I think, have to. Yep. You know what? We've been going a long time. We've been going a long time. Yeah, I can't hear you. Yeah. I'm gonna pop you off of here, Paul. I love you, man. You're awesome. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say a little outro really quick, and you know, we'll be back. We'll be back with more of Paul. He's the best. All right.
Sure.
We like his insight. And let me just, yeah. Oh yeah, baby. That was really good. That was a fun podcast. I wish we can go longer. I think that, you know, I mean, we'd be going for like an hour and 42 minutes. We could talk for a long time. Got to get this whole live thing figured out a lot better. But anyway, this is, you know, it was interesting to listen to Paul's story about the beginnings of Proud Boys, right? What happened with that? That whole evolution. We got all these new guys coming in, you know, and hearing his perspective, that made me understand the club a lot better. And now, it's cool to have that connection now. You know, we've found each other, even despite the fact that we have no social media at all. We have nothing, no social media, no nothing, no way to even like communicating really and getting our stuff out there. But, you know, I think we could do it this way over podcasts. That's what I'm going to try to make this podcast all about. It's going to be a vehicle to communicate, until they throw me off of this platform as well. So, like Devin Paul on, gonna do it again. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Bobby Pickles Podcast. Proud of your boy, baby. Proud of your boy.
Bobby Pickles Podcast. He always says that's me. With that look on his face, he'll talk about anything. Outstanding. Tattoos, t-shirts, politics, history, and hot talk on everything. Bobby Pickles. Pop culture, documentaries, conspiracy theories, sarcasm, and fear. It's a conversation, start listening, cause we're all here. Bobby Pickles Podcast. That's me. Fatbomzo.com. 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 Enzo.com, fat, Enzo.com, fat, Enzo.com.
Yo, Paul.
General Commander.
Do you want to keep going?
Yeah, I'll fucking keep going. You'll just have the audio up?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. So let me call you right back.
Shit went right to voicemail for some reason.
Yo, we are back.
Yeah.
We are back. Oh my God, I got my progressive friend. Oh, sorry. Fuck.
Oh, come on, you asshole, man.
Your name is Toby.
God, you should just be truthful with everybody about who you are. I'm sorry.
No, because
Anyway.
I just got operation today. And
I was just kidding. His name is Dave Wright. Dave
Oh,
Wright.
you jerk.
What up, dude?
What up?
He's a progressive and he's a
Sorry,
scum.
I
Sorry.
want to open a business. I don't need anybody attacking it.
Yeah. See, he's a real personification of what we are already dealing with, Paul. And he's also a fellow Guinea. Anyway, I'm sorry. I was just gonna. I don't know why.
Oh, come on.
I don't know why I threw him on here. He was, but I wanted to finish up with Paul. We had. Can we finish? Can you kind of take the back seat on this, David Wright, please?
Yeah.
Let me.
Your name is Toby.
Oh, come on. It's Kuta Kente.
My name is Guido Americano. Your name is Toby.
You've heard that your whole life, haven't you?
No.
Oh.
I don't even know why you call me. I don't even know why you call me that.
I just decided to. It's a joke. It's an inside joke where I call somebody who's an AKA is Dave Wright. I call them another AKA. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but now you got. I don't need like Antifa or anybody else that disagrees with me attacking a business when I open up one.
Oh,
Antifa. They're the fucking.
Or whatever they're called. No, I mean, or anybody that disagrees with me. It's a really toxic society right now.
it is.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So it's hard to speak your mind and have a business
Yeah.
Yeah.
or have a job or have a career.
Paul, you're not on the speaker, right? Speakerphone? No.
No, I'm on my regular phone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yes.
What's with our audio problem?
Put your volume all the way up.
Okay.
Is your volume all the way up?
It's up.
There you go.
Okay.
That's what it was.
I guess. I don't fucking know.
That's what it was. Isn't that great? Now we figured it out.
I just dialed the number because, getting booted off because of shit audio problems in mid-story isn't a good look for the Bobby Pickle very professional fucking podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. So let's continue because you know what? Listen, Dave Wright, listen, shut your mouth, you progressive troll. That's what he is.
That's not very nice.
You just listen to our conversation. You can talk a little bit. You're my co-host right now. You're riding, you're
I'm being censored.
Shut up. That was already too much.
Exactly.
Dave, do you sleep with your Hillary doll next to you?
I didn't.
Before you go to bed, do you say, "Good night, Hillary, I'll see you tomorrow"?
I didn't vote for her.
Good. Me neither.
I don't like her. I don't vote for people that are corrupt politicians.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, buddy.
No, there's gray areas where the progressives and the new conservatives, the punk rock conservatives like us, where we do see eye to eye on little things, weird things,
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't understand how those progressives could look at a group like the Proud Boys or look at, like, the New Right, or most of the New Right anyway, and say, oh my God, pet them, total Nazis, destroy their lives, they're the worst people ever. When it's like, you have a group of people who are like, we don't like racism either. We don't like the establishment. We don't like, and they're like, yes, you do. Yes, you
Well,
do.
I mean, but I'll tell you what. I did a few shows with Bobby, and I haven't said that to one person.
Okay.
It's because it's labeling. That's what establishment wants.
Well, because that's the other thing. And we were talking about that earlier. Bobby. So you know that, hey, if you read some fucking 24-year-old dickhead in the New York Times says Bobby's a fucking asshole, or the Washington Post says, oh, Bobby's a Nazi, you don't go, oh, I didn't know. I've known the guy 20 years. I didn't know he was a Nazi. You go, I know this guy. He's not a fucking Nazi.
Dude,
what, are they out of their goddamn minds?
Dave, right. Did you ever think that? Did you ever think that about me?
No, I'm not. That's why I'm talking to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean.
Because I'm just trying to say that it's just the establishment has us fighting with each other and whatever. New York Times, whatever, or any of these establishment newspapers, you can come and get money and go in there and write whatever you want. Have them write whatever you want.
You certainly can.
So it's all bullshit. It's like you get freedom of press, but there's no consequences.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, they can say whatever they want to hurt the American people, but nothing ever gets done about it.
Well, I think that's like what Trump was talking about, and people were saying that meant that he was against the freedom of the press. And he wasn't saying that. He was saying you shouldn't be able to just, with impunity, smear people, and they have no recourse to defend themselves, because unless you write about how they're responding to you, there's really, or sue them, and, you know, they're worth billions and you're worth nothing. So who do you think is going to come out on top there? There's no way to really fight them, which is what Trump was saying when he was like, something needs to be done about this fake news. And people were going, that means he wants no freedom of the press. And it's like, well, no, he's not saying you're not allowed to have a different opinion. You're just not allowed to say things are facts when they're not facts. And the press lie all the time. It's really easy. All they have to do to lie is leave out information. If they interview you and they ask you a question like, I don't know, like, are you a bank robber? And you say, no, of course, I've never robbed a bank. My God. And they go, oh, okay. And in their article, they just leave the response out and go, questions are still up in the air whether or not he's a bank robber. People are going to think you're a fucking bank robber, and that's disingenuous and dishonest.
Yeah, it's like it's legal slander.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Paul, you know what I equated it to, man? I was on with this guy. His name's Rash Bomb. He was one of these little snakes that have been trying to get me to, you know, do a story or whatever. And I told him over the phone that he reminded me of a used car salesman, and he was completely and totally offended by that. It was hilarious. But come to find out, dude, my father is actually a used car salesman. So when I was saying it to him, I wasn't telling him like, you know, that he's a complete and total scum or something like that. I was just saying that I know those tricks. I've seen that in action, and what you're doing right now, like, that's so blatant how you're trying to do this, try to get me to talk and say a certain thing or whatever, like just to get your story, you know?
Well, the fact that they would sit down with a group that has repeatedly professed exactly what they are, and I've said this to many journalists, I've been like, we're not these men of mystery. If you want to know our opinion on something, we'll tell you. And like, look it up. It's there. But instead of looking it up through like, oh, well, what did Gavin say about that topic? They look up an out of context quote that an Antifa website posted that the SPLC cited, and they said, well, they printed it on SPLC. It must be true. And it's like, holy fucking shit. And the fact that they'll sit down with you and say, so are you a white supremacist? Or do you hate gay people? Or, you know, like whatever. It's like, why are you asking me that? The implication that you're asking me that is that there's this big question in the air that most people must think we're this. And people might think we're that because you keep saying it.
I know.
Like, that's fucking nuts. And
they're not going to allow the real story to happen. They're not going to allow the truth.
No, what the crazy part is, sorry for interrupting you guys, but the Antifa, they're real communists.
Yes. And
they admit to it.
Yes.
Yep.
I just got a big debate on Facebook with people because they're against Tulsi Gabbard because they're all communists.
Well,
and they're just. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the thing I ask a lot of progressives when they're like, no, I like socialism but not communism, or I like Marxism but I'm not like a Joseph Stalin communist. I always say, what policies in communism do you not like? And they never have a fucking answer. You know what I asked them? I was like, where in the world has communism worked? Right.
Or fascism, both.
Well, right. It doesn't. Fascism is just fascism started out as a Marxist thing, and it's the same thing with Hitler, with Stalin, with Castro, with all these fuck ups. They always start out with like this ideological Marxist utopia bullshit, and it always somehow spins out of control into, okay, well, this isn't working, but it would work if we just, I don't know, killed all the people who disagreed with us. It would.
No, they're just taking advantage of other people's misery.
Yeah, if we scared enough people into not doing this, if we destroyed their businesses, was a big tactic of the Mussolini fascists. If we fucking jail anyone who dissents, which was a big tactic of Cuba and of Russia, then maybe everything will work and fall into place just fine. And it never does, and it's never enough. They've never killed enough people. They've never silenced enough people, because anytime somebody goes, this shit isn't working, they go, oh, you're a dissenter. Okay, we got to put you away. And that's exactly what they're doing now. But the difference is they don't need to use the government really that much anymore, because all they have to do is use Twitter. Twitter, Google, Amazon, and Facebook are bigger than the Roman Empire has ever fucking been.
No shit. No fucking shit.
Hope. The Roman Empire didn't have a prayer to fucking think that they could be as powerful as those 4 fucking companies that need to be fucking broken up, which is what I've been saying for forever.
Yes, they do.
You need to have...
You know, it's funny, Bobby, I figured out a way to censor you.
What?
If I play a song, like a Disney song or something.
No, don't do
shut
that.
Down your YouTube. I know, I'm joking.
No. The only Disney song... Listen, the only Disney song, we both know it. We all know it. Right? Proud of
I don't know about that. Oh, no.
I guess it's technically Disney, but I don't think it's in the movie.
It's a Disney song.
Well, if you have any big corporation like that, they'll shut you down in a heartbeat.
No, we'll sing a Disney song, but we won't. We're not going to play it.
Well, yes, if we sing it, it's an original recording with other artists.
Exactly.
Well, even if I play Billy Ray Cyrus, they'll still do it.
So listen, talk to my friend Paul here. Okay, Dave, you're a progressive troll. All right.
I'm just an independent American.
Self-admitted, you love Bernie. You're a Bernie bro. Talk it out, guys. I'm putting you on with an OG Proud Boy. This guy's an OG. Okay.
All right.
What are all the bad things that you hear about in the news about us, Dave? Right?
The problem with you guys is that people call you fascist, and you guys don't defend yourself. Like when people call, I've been called fascist tonight so many times, or a communist, and I defend myself to the end.
Well, we've tried.
Wait till everybody.
I know you try, but they.
It's not for but when we don't have a platform, it's kind of hard to fucking defend yourself.
Hey, they do the same thing to progressives, man. If you don't go by their rules, they cut you out.
I haven't seen them doing that in mass to progressives on Twitter and Facebook.
It happened to us back in 2016. Like, if we said anything about Hillary, you'd be in Facebook jail, or they put a shadow ban on you.
For some reason, this is the first time I am ever hearing that, because I've always heard the opposite, that they really wanted Hillary, and they did.
You're breaking up a little bit.
I'm breaking up?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Plug that phone in. Make sure you're good. Jesus.
I'm charged, man. I'm good. I don't know.
All right, good. Okay, good.
Okay. Because I'm walking around. But yeah, I've never heard, because all the people who are the top motherfuckers at Facebook gave money to Hillary, and Amazon did the same, and Google did the same, and Twitter did the same. So I find it really hard to believe that their CEOs, if they're censoring anyone, were like, go after the Hillary people, unless they were like, I'll cut your fucking throat, which is what they were saying to me around 2016. If I said anything pro-Trump, I would get we'll cut your fucking throat and inbox messages of like, we're going to find out where you live and all this other fucking
toxic.
Yeah, it's rough, but I don't know, man. I don't get it. Like, that's the thing. It's like when you say you don't fight back, it's like, I don't know about that, man. I had a whole website dedicated to fighting back. It was officialproudboys.com, and I ran Proud Boy magazine, and I would respond to not every article, but most big articles about Proud Boys that had a lot of untrue things in them, I would go like literally line by line in the article and respond. The problem was that you couldn't share it on Facebook. If you shared it, they'd delete your account. So then when no one could see what you're fucking saying, and then so I would do interviews. I'd be like, great, interview me. Here's the email. Interview me. I'll do media requests. And I did a bunch of shit, like the SBS Dateline thing that turned out great. The NBC thing I set up for Gavin.
The Islamaville?
Islamberg.
Dude, tell me about Islamberg. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that whole thing that you went to the town. Now listen.
Yes.
Let me first preface this by saying I have Muslim friends. I interviewed a Muslim guy who should probably be a Proud Boy, honestly. He's actually from the same area that Gavin is in Canada, French-speaking Canada. And
I did an interview with Iran this week.
Yes, you did. You beautiful son of a bitch. Yes, you did. So actually, I guess we'll just stop at that, right? I mean,
but
there's definitely some overtones of Islamophobia. I feel like, if anything at all, it's mistrust of Islam within the Proud Boys, and I'll admit that's a little bit to it.
What I've always said, and I can
not to it,
that.
But there, some people, and I think that it's. Let me think. Let me how to say this. I understand their point of view, man. 9/11, bro. Come on, Well, people are in shell shock over that stuff. Still, people remember that, especially people from up north.
I could start out by giving my Islamophobic credentials. In 2005, there was a suicide bombing at a mess hall in Iraq. It was known as the mess hall suicide bombing. Some people who are listening right now might remember it. One of the people that was killed in that attack was a Marine named David Roaring. That's my cousin Davey, who was a distant cousin of mine. So literally, members of my family have been killed by Islamic suicide bombing. So with that being said, yeah, I have Muslim friends. It doesn't bother me to know that somebody's Muslim. I could give a fuck. But I don't have a problem with Muslim people. I have a problem with Islam, which I've said to many interviewers who usually perk up and look at me like I just messed up. And I go, am I not allowed to have a problem with Islam? If we're talking about the Catholic Church and
I have a problem with the Pope. Fuck the Pope.
Well, that's the thing.
So, like, when I talk about Muslims, I always say it's only like 10 or 15% of them that's giving the rest of them a bad name. They're not all bad people.
It's not about them being bad people, and unfortunately, whether it's 10 or 15%, what the problem with Islam, if we're going to talk about problems in Islam, there's a lot of them, is that the other 90 to 85% don't do shit about it. They don't care. They don't freak out the way Christians do, or the way like even white people do when you accuse them of racism. They don't go like, hold on, let's distance ourselves from that. They don't do that, and that, I think, really bothers and freaks people out in the West because they go like, yeah, like there was a suicide bombing at the thing because somebody drew a picture of Muhammad, and the normal secular Muslim guy will say something to the tune of, well, maybe you shouldn't disrespect the Prophet. And it's like, wait, what?
Or maybe a foreign country wanted to cause some stir up, and they gave somebody $25,000 to go over there and blow themselves up. $25,000 in one of them countries could feed a family for their whole life.
Whoa!
I guess, but I'm telling you, like, suicide bombing is a thing. There's a lot of
no, definitely, it's definitely a thing. It's sick people.
Within Islam, when you tell me that 25%, which means 1 in 4 Muslims in the world, including America, believe that suicide bombing is sometimes or often justified, that freaks me the fuck out. It lets me, because here's the thing, Islam isn't just a fucking religion. It's a whole political ideology. It's a whole network of like, no, you have to believe this, you have to vote for this, you have to do this, and this is the way life for everyone should be, and you should be living subserviently to Islam. That's a problem. So you were talking about
I don't know if that's true, though, because I know some people that are very chill, like, and don't.
Yes.
It's not really. There's I've been explained, it's different sects, just like there's different sects of Judaism or whatever.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
And there are some people that are very chill, and normally those people that are very chill, it's because they're more secular than the more devout people. The people that are chill are the guys.
I know a guy from Tunisia. The whole place in Tunisia is all chill. Tunisia's chill in general.
That could very well be. But what I'm saying is, like, normally it's like if a guy from Somalia comes here because he wants to open up a hot dog stand and he wants his daughters to join cheerleading, I have no problem with that guy. Like, good. You want to be American. You want to assimilate. And what you believe, at home, as far as your religious beliefs and who you worship, is your business. That's what America's all about. The problem isn't that guy. The problem is the fact that there's a lot of other guys who come here hating America, and a lot of people who, and like I said, man, I mentioned it a couple times. I live in the hood. I live around people who come out in the full burqa, and to me, it's like, you're in America. What the fuck are you doing? And it's a way for people to basically say, I reject your whole way of life.
Would you eat out of a jar of jelly beans, and you knew like 2 of them out of all the thousands in there were poison, and they would kill you?
No, but the thing is, it's not even 2 in 1,000. When you're talking about 25% think it's sometimes are often justified, that's a number that really freaks me out.
Okay.
Yeah, but you got Christians. Some Christians dance around with rattlesnakes. I mean, they don't speak for all the rest of them. It's like,
no, they don't speak for the rest of them, but they're also not throwing rattlesnakes at people for the rattlesnake to bite that person. They do their own little Pentecostal thing. A lot of them live in Louisiana, as a matter of fact. We were talking about Louisiana earlier, and they're not out there like the people when they go, well, there's bad Christians too. It's like, yeah, naturally, there's bad everything, but like people are sometimes bad. It's a human thing. It's people. The problem is whether or not there's like a radical Christian guy out there who's going to do something crazy is inconsequential because the numbers are so small that they don't even register. Within Islam, and yes, sects of Islam and different things like that, there's a movement to do something crazy. There's no like movements in Christianity, and especially no popular movements to do crazy, violent shit onto other people in order to take over as Christians or convert other people to Christianity. And I have no dog in the fight.
But there used to be.
There used to be. What happened 1,000 years ago?
No, not even 1,000 years ago. We came here and we made all the, and this is, by the way, this is everything I'll allude to something else that we talked about in the previous conversation. It was the fact that my brothers over here, the Israelites, they believe, they're talking about this, about how we came and forced Christianity upon everybody. We did do that. We came down, all the Spanish,
but you know what's crazy
is that in Florida, to all the Indians. What?
No, the Spanish actually brought over black folks that were Muslims, and they let them be Muslims in Florida. Florida was the first state, or the first place in the Americas where black people were freed, and they could buy land and do whatever they want.
What?
Well, yeah. There you go. And there was also a lot of Spanish people who did some fucking horrible things. And there was also and here's the thing: anytime somebody mentions what some guy from 500 years ago was doing, to me that's pretty inconsequential. And if we're going to play that game, Islam, and this is the truth, and I studied Middle Ages in college, was spread by the sword. There is no other way to fucking put it. They were a war culture whose whole thing was taking territory and forcibly converting people or subjugating them. That's their entire fucking thing.
But there would be also an argument for the fact that Christianity did the same thing in a lot of ways. And I'm not trying to be a total liberal here.
I'm not conflating it. I'm saying that if you want to get into all the horrible things Christianity did, I'm with you. I'm not saying Christianity was this perfect thing. I'm not Christian.
But then that's going to turn into whataboutism.
What are you?
I am an atheist.
Oh my God, you stupid son of a bitch! I can't believe that. What? No,
I'm one of those.
That's insane. You're a proud boy who's an atheist. I've never met one. I don't think I've ever met one. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. I have this real moron thing I do. It's called thinking for myself. And just because I have a lot of friends who are Christians, and most Christians, in all fairness, have been really nice to me, Christianity just didn't answer the questions realistically that I had.
Do you believe in a higher power? Do you believe in God? No, nothing.
No.
Do you have
Bob, I had the same conversation with you.
Can I question? Wait, you don't believe in God either?
Who?
No.
You?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't talk. I don't try not to talk religion.
Do you not believe in God and no higher power?
I don't believe.
I didn't say that. I'm more of like the universe. I believe in the universe.
I believe
I believe
in that
believe
too.
In nothing. I believe in everything. I believe in people. I believe in
energy. Yeah, human species.
I don't believe in energy. I'm not a fucking weirdo hippie with a crystal. But I'm
talking about gravity and stuff like that.
Paul. Have you seen a lot of death in your life at all?
Well, I used to work at a morgue.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
What did you used to do at the morgue? What did you do there?
I worked at a hospital. I used to take dead bodies down to the morgue, and I used to wait for them when they coded to die, so I could take them down.
Have you had anybody close to you die?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, there's something about death that makes me grasp spirituality. And I mean, it comforts me, I guess.
You're afraid of dying.
The thing with death.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
I've literally watched hundreds of people in the last moments of their life. And let me tell you what never happens. They never go out screaming or saying something clever. What they do is they close their eyes, shit their pants, and you turn into a computer on the blink. If your hard drive ever went out, it just goes like... That's what a dead person is. So when you die, you don't fucking know it. And that's how I look at it. So
you'll be dead. You'll be dead.
My whole thing is to not just enjoy, but celebrate and try and make the world a little bit of a better place while you're here. And if you want to live forever, pass along your ideas, have a family, have your own traditions. I mean, that's the thing, man. I'm not against anything. And like I said, most Christians have been really awesome to me in my life. And I think that they get a really bad rap, which is part of the reason why people always assume I'm religious, because I'm always defending Christianity and being like, actually, those guys aren't that bad. Just because people are wrong doesn't mean I think you're an idiot.
As somebody who was Sicilian in their blood, did you go to Catholic? Did you ever have to be? Were you born Catholic?
I was Catholic. I was an altar boy. I was a lector. I was a lector. I was an usher. And I was an altar boy. Teacher.
Yeah, you guys get confirmed?
Holy shit, you were a CCD teacher, you stupid bastard. I love you, man. I'm sorry, I'm a little drunk.
I was the most tatted up CCD teacher they had. I was a CCD teacher, and part of the thing was, I remember talking to 7th graders. I was a substitute CCD teacher. And I was talking to 7th graders, and I was talking to them about the talking snake story. And I remember as I'm like telling them what happened, like, because they were asking me questions. I answered, I was like, well, the snake at the time was talking. And as these words are coming out of my mouth, I'm going, holy shit, I'm lying to children. And It was like the first little thing.
That would put it into perspective for me. Well, why are you lying? You were lying based on what? Like your interpretation of it? Because that's what the Bible is.
No, I'm saying, well, that's the other thing. When people were like, everyone interprets the Bible different, I always go like, but isn't that supposed to be the word of God? How do you interpret the word of God? Either it's the word of God or it's fucking poetry. Oh, and by the way, I could tell you more facts about historical popes than anyone you've ever fucking met in your life.
Dude,
I am crazy.
Can I?
Atheists are now, they have knowledge.
Let me tell you something. This is another thing that's hilarious.
I like it.
I know.
I like it.
Paul, this is hilarious.
Knowledge is key.
I was actually just talking about this with the Israelites again today, and we're talking about how, and this is absolutely true, blacks, African Americans, whatever you want to call them, Israelites, they know the Bible. And honestly, it's every Christian sect other than Catholicism, I feel like, knows the Bible, but definitely black Americans who believe in Christianity of some form, like they can quote the Bible, they know verses. Me, I know everything about Catholicism. I I know everything about it. I don't know about the Bible, though. Do you know what I'm saying, though? I can, like, say the whatever it is, a million Hail Marys, Our Fathers, act of contrition. I can,
When was the last time you went to confession?
I should go.
Yeah, you should go to confession. We should all go.
But especially if you're going to eat that Eucharist, because if you eat the Eucharist and
you can't go to the Eucharist unless
that's a mortal sin.
Hey, we're Catholics. We're Catholics. We're baptized Catholics.
Yes,
I was. I got confirmed.
I absolutely am. I'm confirmed.
Me too.
Yeah, let's go, dog.
But that's the thing, and I thought about this. And I was like, I actually had to think about, like, well, what would I tell my kids? Like, I don't know lie to my kids, but
I'm going to that prom right now.
I would absolutely raise my kids Catholic.
Me too.
Yeah, my kids are baptized Catholic.
I'm going to burden them with this insanity as well. I don't give a fuck. I don't.
My kids, both of my kids are Catholic.
I don't want them to be. Here's the thing. Most people, when they think of atheists, like conservatives that I know mostly, who have that whole, like, oh, you atheists don't believe in anything and you're just a shit person who's negative on God. You think God fucked you over. And it's like, no, that's the thing. That's not how I arrived at this at all. Like, it wasn't a negative, like, fuck the world fucking moment for me at all. It was just like okay, realistically, what's going on here? And I had to, like, discover that for myself. And then the more I fucking, like, read about stuff and learned about stuff and answered questions for myself, I realized something. I'm like, every good thing or everything that happens for me in my life that works out is because I did it myself. It's not because I sat around praying. It's not because God blessed me on this day. It's like anytime I was, like, desperate and praying, I never fucking felt anything.
I do.
Like, oh, I get a wish feeling.
I have.
Well, and that's great. And and again, I'm not Mr. Oh, let's convert everyone. And for the most part,
how old are you? You're young though. How old are you?
I'm 30. I just turned 37.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, I don't have any animosity towards religion. I like reading about it and learning about it. My girlfriends would fucking laugh at me because I'd be watching, like, a boring ass YouTube video on, like, the 13th Benedict Pope of the fucking, and I'm like, oh, this is cool.
That's cool. I love that, dude. I am such a nerd.
Yeah,
I would totally
the
like
Borges
that.
is cool. The Borges is awesome.
Great. There's a great book if you want to really go deep. There's a book called Caesar's Messiah, which talks about, like, the people who may have really written the Bible, which is something that really makes me curious.
Ooh.
Because I had this conversation with somebody where I was like, okay, so we don't know where Jesus's body is, right? But was there a Jesus? Because there's really no evidence that there was one. But I'm like, but was there a Jesus? And if we can't find Jesus, can we find his friends? So where's St. Peter? Where's St. Paul? Where's their graves? Where's their bodies? Like, I want to be a detective.
St. Peter is underneath the Sistine Chapel, isn't he, or whatever?
They found bones for sure. they found dead guys under there for sure. They believe that he's under St. Peter's Basilica,
yes.
Which I would be really curious for them to really test that. And I want to see, okay, because if there was a Peter, so what? Was he a guy who was walking around making crap up? So that means there must have been a dude named Jesus. So what was life like back then? Because it's thousands of years ago, and I really love putting myself in that place of, like, what must it have been like thousands of years ago? And I think the Bible is an awesome tool that you could read and be like, dude, this was what it was like back then. It has wisdom in it, and it has great parables, and it has great stories, and I think that's important, and I think you should know that. I don't want my kids growing up and, like, not knowing Jesus fed the 5,000. I want my kids to be curious. I want them to learn all that, and then I want them to figure out, come to a conclusion as they come of age. And it's like I said, I wouldn't push someone when it comes to that one way or the other. I would never discourage someone from their faith. But I mean, I was dating a girl for a little while who was very Christian, and before I started dating her, she wanted me to come on her podcast and talk about religion, like talk to conservative atheists about religion. I said, oh yeah, I'll come on your fucking show. And then when we started getting a little closer, I said, I won't come on your show and talk about that. She went, why? I'm like, because I will fucking light you up. And I don't want you to hate me at the end of this, but where I was going with whatever I was going to do, you can't throw anything at me that I haven't heard. It's just like debating a liberal to me. no matter what most liberals say when they have the typical liberal shit, I've heard it. The crazy thing about liberals is they've never heard what I'm about to say. Because in their mind, they're like, oh, because you hate black people and that's why you don't like welfare. And it's like, no, that's not the reason at all. And then you could get into it and really unpack it, and their minds are blown that you actually fucking thought about this. To me, it's the same thing with religious people versus non-religious people or secular people, where I feel like the religious people are so rooted in the world that they're in, they never really heard all the other arguments for why. And it's not even like why there might not be a God, but it's like, let's think critically about this. In all of human history, of all the things that have ever happened, when we talk about like curing disease or discovering flight, does anyone ever go like, how do we cure polio? It's like, oh, we took a little piece of the disease and we mixed it with some stuff, and when you give it to that person develops an immunity. It's like, oh, that's awesome. Well, how did we figure out flight? Magically. Oh, magic. Great. Yeah, that worked. The answer to anything in life has never been magically. Ever. So it's not just like I'm an atheist because I don't like Christianity or I don't like God or something. I don't like magical thinking.
You definitely don't like astrology either, probably.
I run screaming from it. Like,
you share that with our former Supreme Leader, right? Gavin McInnes. Gavin McInnes, he hates that too.
Yeah, no. If a girl asks me what my sign is, I throw her down a flight of stairs and run as fast as I fucking can. Or my standard answer is
your phone's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, my standard answer is I don't know, I'm allergic to bullshit, which to me is what it is, because every time somebody says what the qualities of one thing or another, or when they go, what's your sign? I go, well, if you think it's true, you should be able to tell me. And they go, oh, and guess what? It always takes them like 6 guesses. They're like, oh, you're an Aquarius? No. You're Scorpio. No. Oh, you're a Gemini. No. And then they work their way all the way, and then they go, okay, well, what is it? I'm a Capricorn. They're like, oh. And then they sit and think and go, oh, I guess I could see that. And I'm like, yeah, of course you can fucking see it. Because the attributes to all of these things are things that are in all of us. So anything that you say you are, if you say, oh, I'm a Scorpio, sometimes I have a bad temper. Sometimes everybody has a bad temper. I'm a Leo. What does that mean? It means I'm a leader. Do you know anyone who would describe themselves as a follower?
Well, no. They're the fake leaders. Leos they want to be the leader, but the truth is the Aries is the leader because they're the first sign, and they're just like they lead so much that they don't even realize they're leaders. Anyway,
I don't know. That sentence made me want to throw myself into a fucking.
Well, you're a crap with corn. You're a crap with corn. I mean, that's like the worst thing you could be.
I am the worst thing you could be.
You're one of the worst things that you could possibly.
I'm a proud boy Capricorn, which makes me even a worse person. But that's the thing. It's like every time somebody goes, well, I'm this and that makes me this. I'm like, well, there's nobody out there. It means I'm very caring and compassionate. It means I'm creative. It's like, I don't know did you know anyone who, if you say, hey man, are you creative, would be like, no, I'm a dunce. Oh, okay.
I know. All right. Okay. All right. God damn it. Maybe it's bullshit, but I really don't think so. To be honest with you, honest with you, if I go to New Orleans, it's on my Jupiter line. Okay.
Oh, I love all the voodoo.
No,
shit,
you have no idea, dude. It's on my Jupiter line. It's the perfect place for me to be.
There you go, buddy.
It just like the way that the sun hits the buildings in the morning, man, over the Mississippi River. Holy shit.
The way Bourbon Street smells with throw up.
Yeah.
it's what I tell people all the time. I go, I'm a libertarian because I don't know what's best for you. I know what's best for me, and I want you to do what's best for you. But that's what makes me what would be considered, I guess, a libertarian. Because I don't know. I'm not sitting around saying I have all the answers for everyone else's fucking life, but I just want to be left alone. And I want to leave people alone.
That's basically what I would consider myself if I had to if I was in a corner and I had to actually say the word to label myself. I would say, I guess, libertarian.
Every little online test that I take says that I'm more of a constitutional conservative. And yeah, okay, cool. I'm happy with that. I don't care. Like I said, I'm going to believe and say and think what I believe and say and think. And I'm not doing it because I'm like, ooh, I want to be more constitutional conservative, or I want to be more new right, or I want to be more libertarian today. I just say my fucking piece, and whatever it is, it is. And if people go, that makes you a this, I go, okay, cool. Then I'm that. Like,
how do you feel about war?
I'm against it for the most part, but I understand it.
Go into a different area of the house. No,
war
sorry.
in a different area of the house?
No, I'm sorry. It was starting to break up again.
What?
It just started to break up again for a second. That's all.
In my house. I thought you were commenting on the war.
Sorry.
I want to stay out of other people's fucking shit as much as we can. I know that doesn't mean that. Like, I know that there are certain things we need to do, but I also I'm not a big fan of, like, let's just fucking fight everyone for no reason. I mean, I had to talk, the Iranian guy I talked to was asking me about Salamundi. I'm for killing Salamundi. He was like, he was one of our generals and our heroes. And I was kind of taken aback because in my head, I'm like, this guy was a fucking mass murderer, terrorist asshole. And in Iran, they're talking about him like, we can't believe you killed him. And I'm like, can you not believe we killed him? I'm like, are you sure about that? Because he was kind of a shithead and he was trying to kill Americans and whoever else. So I don't know. I don't weep tears of fucking sorrow for Salamundi. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, if this was an ideal fucking world and I had a magic wand, I would stay out of everybody else's fucking business.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just stupid getting into anybody else's business. We should worry about our own country.
Yeah.
Like, like America first, you progressive retard. You should have voted for Trump. Stupid.
Let me explain what you guys are.
Against your best interest.
You're conservative. You're fiscal conservatives off of Ike. Like, I know you're not going to like hearing this, but Reagan and all them Republicans, conservatives, they ruined the conservative movement.
Well,
but you guys are part of, like, the Ike progressives.
What I think actually ruined the fucking conservatives, to be totally honest, is I think that fucking at some point after Eisenhower, conservatives decided, and it was a little before Reagan. I like Reagan, but he's the guy who leaned into the religious thing real hard. And I think once we leaned into the religious stuff real hard, you're alienating a big chunk of people, including the fastest growing religion in America, atheism. So that means that a lot of people who are fucking sitting around going, I don't really believe wholeheartedly in the Christianity thing, or even there's a lot more people who call themselves Christian, and they kind of believe, but they're not like jumping in with both fucking feet. They don't go to church every fucking day, and they're not praying every fucking 5 minutes. Those people are like, I don't know if I want the religious people, like specifically the hyper-Christian people, telling everyone what to do. The two things everyone always told me my whole life about Republicans were, you guys are judgmental and you're intolerant. And where all that is rooted is the religious stuff. Because the gay, like, we don't want gays to do anything bullshit. Who gives a fuck about that? And that's what we all kind of came to the conclusion of around the time of Trump. Like, I don't give a fuck if two guys want to blow each other. Who gives a shit? Let's just fucking fix the economy. Let's do this. Let's get this right. Let's immigration. Let's get that right. Lock it down. All this other fucking shit. That's what conservatives really found was important and practical, as opposed to, like, can we get the gay guys down the street to bang chicks? Like, who gives a fuck about that? But that all crept in because of the religious stuff. And people kept saying, you guys are really judgmental. Well, the judgy stuff came because the worst religious people are super judgmental. The best ones don't give a shit. But the worst ones, who are the people who normally seek the reins of power, are really judgmental. It fucked things up for conservatives. That's why for 20, 30 years, young people went screaming away from the Republican Party. And it was only when we had a president who, he'll mention God and acknowledge, yes, we're a God-loving country and this and that, but he wasn't making policy based on, well, I had to talk to God and pray and blah, blah, blah. Okay, good for you. But, like, he wasn't doing that And I think that made a lot of people come back to conservatism because suddenly the judgmental people were the progressives. The people who wanted power were the worst of the fucking progressives. And the conservatives were the ones going, oh my God, let's just leave everybody fucking alone and lower the goddamn gas prices and taxes, for fuck's sake. That's a practical solution. I think that's what made people like it. And the thing that's going to make people run screaming from it are like the Nick Fuentes fucking people who think that they know it all and they're better than everyone. And it's like, I'm sorry, I don't get my fucking political or religious advice from a fucking 20-year-old who's never been laid. That's just who I am. So no matter how many people out there fucking love Fuentes and this and that, it's like, consider the fucking source. This guy doesn't know shit about fuck, and everyone seemed to, he got on everyone's radar because he made an anal sex joke to Charlie Kirk. Ooh, does that get you all excited? Gives a fuck, dude. I don't think
there's a lot of ism going on in this country.
Yeah.
It's just this division. That's all it is, man. It's just sick. Like I heard you guys talking before about politicians you supporting a Republican, and he didn't want anything to do with you. And
well,
what you guys
position, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but it's just with that is you guys got to get rid of the establishment in your party. That's the only way to end this. We got the Democratic Party's got to do it, and the Republican Party's got to do it. And just actually drain the swamp. Take money out of politics. That's the only way.
Yeah, the first guy to take money out of politics since I've been alive has been Trump, who put his own money in and did not glad hand to other people for money. For the most part, he funded his own campaign. And everyone has always been talking about campaign finance reform. And the second you had a guy who actually said, fuck it, I'm doing this myself, they decided to malign him as a Russian spy, said that he liked getting pissed on, and then impeached him twice and called all his followers neo-Nazis. So that's what happens when you try and take money out of politics, because we had that guy. He was there for 4 fucking years. And then even in the second election, some might say some shady things may have happened during that election where people came out in full force to vote to re-elect that president, yet somehow some guy who never really even campaigned got more votes than anyone in history. Lucky Joe, I call him. He must be just the most charismatic guy in the world, because I don't know people who voted for him, and I live in the most liberal fucking place in the world. And everyone I talk to is like, I didn't want that fucking guy. I voted for Trump. So
I didn't vote for him.
Well, that's the thing. It makes me scratch my head. It makes me go, it's things that make you go, how the fuck did Joe Biden get 80 million votes, I wonder? Wow, it's weird that those margins kept jumping by hundreds of thousands of votes in real time. How did that happen?
The establishment Republicans did it to him. You should have never trust Mitch McConnell and all them. They got him.
Trust Mitch McConnell as far as I can throw him.
No, I mean, no Trump. I'm talking about you should have never dealt with him. You should have drained this, got rid of him somehow.
Yeah, I agree, but you know, at the same time, it's like Trump was the most anti-establishment fucking president in my life. He's the guy I was waiting for my whole life. My whole life.
Me too.
Every time me and my friends sat around and did like a thought exercise about who would you want for president, we're like, dude, why can't you just get a guy who's like really good at business, who's really smart, who's succeeded, who has a track record to get in there, run the country like it's a fucking company, cut all the fucking red tape and government bullshit.
Exactly.
And that was why I voted for Trump. I'm like, oh, that's this guy. He understands what the country is. He understands what the country isn't. And he's just a good, cool Republican guy. And he's a total outsider. Never ran for office in his fucking life. Let's see how he fucking does. Oh, it turns out gas prices are down. We're not in any new wars. This is turning out pretty fucking good for us. Oh, yeah. Chase him away with a fucking stick. Call him a Nazi, make all his followers fucking unemployed, fucking use a COVID virus thing, which is like, okay, we might need to handle this, but then turn it up to 11 and be like, no, for a year we need to be locked down, because once we're locked down, they can now do whatever the fuck they want and pass it under the guise of this is a COVID thing. And it's like, well, if it's a COVID thing, how come all this Green New Deal shit is in your fucking bill? Oh, never mind that. We give you stimulus money. It's like, I don't want stimulus money, motherfucker. I want to start a business.
Yeah, but you also got Republicans putting their stuff in there too. They're both getting everything in there.
Yeah, because at the same time, I can't blame them, because why wouldn't they? The first bill that fucking Democrats brought to the floor was something like $23 trillion, and it basically, within this bill, all it did was overturn all of Trump's executive orders, make the Green New Deal a thing, which has none of this has anything to do. do with COVID, like lock in abortions in Mexico City. It's like, what does this have to do with fucking anything? And then, of course, so what you're going to get is Republicans going, okay, fuck it, we're putting shit in our bill, in the bill now. And that's how you get this, when at the end of the day, these motherfuckers should have passed this shit with the quickness. If you're going to force everyone to stay home, figure out how you're going to make it up to the American people.
How you going to give it small businesses and take care of people?
Keep talking. I got to piss.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, go ahead.
No, but that's been my whole thing with COVID. It's like, all right, if it's so necessary that none of us fucking go back to work forever and always, then you need to make sure that lightning fast, you motherfuckers come together and be like, this is a state of emergency. We got to make it right. And instead,
dude, over 100,000 small businesses shut down because of this shit, and nobody's going to help them. They're never going to open again. It's like they're helping out franchises,
including the place I work, that bounced at a strip club that was open for 25 years and it's done.
Oh man!
And it's like, but that's the thing. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what happens to me? Nobody gives a shit about a strip club of all things. So to me,
no. And then if you say you're from a strip club, they're gonna be like, oh, you're a scumbag. You deserve to lose your job.
Well, but that's the thing. At the end of the day, it's a small business, and at the end of the day, it's it's one of those things that it's like, yeah, guess what? We're last in line for what priorities of what are going to open. Like, they're not going to be like, this strip clubs need to open too. Like, so it just killed it, and it's done after fucking a quarter of a century being open in the same location. It's done. They need to find like a new spot to reopen, which is not easy because during COVID, you try getting a fucking loan. All this shit is fucked. And again, they should have been jumping on top of this shit to fix it.
Dude, it's pretty sad that Bernie and Trump agreed on the $2,000 checks.
Yeah.
That's how bad American people needed help, and they still didn't pass it.
I think for different reasons. I think Bernie never saw a spending bill he didn't fucking like. But I think Trump just realized, like, you're fucking the people and you made them wait this long. And one of the reasons why we waited this long is because the Democrats knew, oh shit, an election's coming up. If we pass this shit in August and everyone gets those checks with Trump's name on it, I mean, I don't know if you remember the first checks, but Black Twitter fucking blew up. Black Twitter was a bunch of people going, I am voting for Trump. He gave me my fucking money. I love this man, blah, blah, blah. Democrats saw that, and Nancy Pelosi said out loud during an interview, we're not about to pass a bill that's going to send out a bunch of checks with Donald Trump's name on it right before the election. She said those fucking words. That's insane, because it tells me that you don't give a fuck, that you're going to fuck the country as long as you can if it's in your interest. Like, because they pulled out all the stops to beat him, and the guy they chose was like basically a corpse for a fucking candidate. And it's like, okay, Trump didn't lose any votes. It's not like he got less votes than he got last time. He got millions and millions more votes. So it shows the country's still fucking behind him. But some other shit was going on, including let's change the way we elect people from now on. Including
what do you think about Trump's future?
About Trump's what?
Future. Like, should he run again, or should somebody else give it a shot?
I mean, I don't know, man. I'll tell you this. I would vote for like a Dan Crenshaw. I think that'd be great. I think Ted Cruz.
Sorry.
What?
Nothing.
Ted Cruz, I think, really grew a pair of balls in the past 4 years.
Yeah. He's too establishment for me.
Well, whatever. When I first saw him, I was so unimpressed with him, and I was like, that guy's not going to be president. But everything he does is, like, the guy goes after it, and he knows the Constitution like the fucking back of his hand, and I was super impressed with all that, where I was like, that guy, now he could be president. He couldn't be president 4 years ago, but I think Trump lit a fire under his ass. It was like, grow a pair of fucking balls. He's the senator who brought it to the floor and said, we have to investigate this fucking election, when everybody else is too scared because they're like, ooh, it's an anti-establishment thing to say the election might have some fuckery going on. Ted Cruz was actually the one guy who was like, here's my big fucking dick, and I'm going to tell you what everyone in this country seems to know, and the Democrats are ignoring, that some fucking chicanery happened.
Well, dude, I know about the rigging that goes on, and Trump, the Republicans rigged them. They got him.
Well,
in the same news that prepped them, boosted them up, tore them down. They just, you notice how they stopped talking about him?
Well, like I said, one way or the other, establishment Republicans didn't want him in 2016 either, if you remember.
No, they didn't want him at all. He was going to drain the swamp and take their jobs.
He's a fucking outsider. He's a fucking outsider. They didn't like that. They wanted one of the boys. The problem is the Republicans got fucking stale for the same reason the Democrats got stale, because they work with the Republicans were working with a 30-year-old playbook. The fucking Democrats are working with literally like a 50-year-old playbook at this point. Like they act like it's 1964 and they need to free blacks and allow them to vote. And it's like, we're good on that.
No
Move
shit.
on,
No, we need to finish with the 1950s started.
Time for
like everyone in the middle class. Mentorship. You get people to run that's not going to be greedy and actually want to help the American people, not just be out for themselves and make a profit.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Trump lost half his fucking wealth being president, as opposed to every other president who gained many times the wealth that they had when they left office from when they started. Trump lost half his. Trump ran with his own fucking money rather than glad handing to, Wall Street the way Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton fucking did. So to me, it's like when you talk about Democrat, and again, I don't understand what ideas do they have? What's their new innovative idea? It's like solar panels. It's like I'll kick you in the face. Like solar panels, my fucking ass. They're not.
Oh my God, yeah. Listen.
You can't talk to me green energy.
I
get the squeak in my.
David Wright is a total green energy idiot.
100%. I would love to have a Tesla and smoke a muscle car.
All right, well, great. So here's the thing. The problem is this. They got to figure it out. I would love to have a car that runs on fucking elephant farts and fucking French fries. It just isn't going on right now.
Exactly.
There's a problem we got to fix. Is instead of getting oil companies subsidies like we've been doing, fighting their wars for them and everything, put all that money into infrastructure and like new technologitions. Because we're so far behind the rest of the world.
Yeah, what about during? What about now? Not then. Now.
Now we gotta do it now.
When you say subsidies, because this is a thing that progressives like to say, like just like when AOC was saying, well, they're giving Amazon subsidies to come to New York. It's like all that means, it doesn't get people envision, because this is what progressives train them to envision, that the government is cutting a check to Exxon and sending it to them. That isn't what's happening. What they're doing is going, okay, instead of paying $40 billion in taxes this year, you'll pay $20 billion in taxes, but you make sure to cut those fucking gas prices. That's what a subsidy is. I have no problem with that, especially being that $20 billion is more money than I'll ever make in my fucking life. So if they're paying that every year, I'm cool with it. I'm good with that, especially if my gas prices fucking stay down, because at the end of the day, I worked for a tree removal place and a landscaper at one point. What did we do first thing every morning? We filled up all the machines and we filled up the truck. So our bill would be like $300. If you double the gas price, there's a big difference between $300 and $600 for a small business owner, and that means a couple of those guys working for you might not have their fucking jobs.
No shit.
But imagine this. Imagine if we had green technology and we put money into it, and then all them lawnmowers and the trucks and everything have batteries, and you wouldn't have a $300 gas bill.
Yeah, man. Imagine if we had fucking unicorns. We could fucking jump on the back.
But it can happen. It's happening in China. It's happening around the rest of the world.
Some
it's not happening here.
See
That's
things the way they are and ask why.
China
Others dream things that never were and ask why.
Yeah, but they're making more solar panels than anybody else, and also Tesla moved their factory there. Their gigafactory there.
Well, that's all well and good, but at the same time, so let's say tomorrow you go, okay, everybody has to use some battery engine and this and that. Great. Do you have money for a new car on hand right now to buy your battery fucking engine? Because I don't.
No, but they got to bring it down to 20,000, 15,000. You know, I mean, they got to bring down the price on it. But the technology's not there yet with the batteries. But when you depend on capitalism to do it, like private industry to do it, it takes a lot longer. I mean, look at World War II. If we depended on private industry to get things done, we had to tell them what we needed, and they built it for us.
It also happens a lot better. If I recall correctly, Sweden didn't come up with any fucking vaccines for the COVID virus within the fucking year. And that was take the hand. That wasn't even Trump going, the government needs to get in there. That was him going, we got to cut the red tape and let private industry do what the fuck they do. And then all of a sudden we have 3 vaccines now, when normally it takes 9 years to come up with a vaccine. Well, wouldn't you know who won the
crazy, right?
pony? Capitalism.
Crazy.
If you take the handcuffs off,
but this is, the reason why I use a different name, because I love capitalism. I just don't like crony capitalism. I don't think corporations like Google. I don't think Google or anybody else should be owning politicians. That's my whole point with this whole thing.
I agree. I think.
What do you think about Tulsi Gabbard?
I like Tulsi. I don't hate her. We probably disagree on a lot of shit, but seems to be she's a reasonable, she's the one person in the Democratic Party that I could look at and go, oh, that's what a regular Democrat should be, but she's an anomaly. She may as well be a fucking white ape at a fucking zoo or something like that, because we've never seen one of her before. Because most of what I see when I go on the streets and talk to people about okay, oh, you're liberal, so what do you think of AOC? Oh, isn't she the greatest? I'm like, no. Matter of fact, she fucking sucks. And she's a fucking moron bartender. She has no idea. She's in so far over her head, it's unreal. And she's making a joke out of herself, because her whole thing, it's not even policy or something. It's wishes and dreams, and then I'm a victim, I'm a victim. That's what most of the Democrats are now. Tulsi Gabbard actually has a set of balls, and she's reasonable. She sits there and goes okay, she's pro-choice, which is okay, that's what you're into or whatever, but she's not and let's abort babies up to the 4th grade. But that's the problem. The other progressives like AOC and Bernie don't know when to stop. They don't know when to go, okay, we could all agree that beyond the 6th trimester, it's probably a bad time to have a fucking abortion, so let's do something about that.
But the problem with the Progressive Party, the progressives, is we're a mix of all different types of people. Like I say, the progressive movement goes all the way back to Teddy Roosevelt. We're a mix up of different people, but it's so of course AOC, right now there's a fight going on between Tulsi and AOC in the progressive movement.
Right.
Jimmy Dore's doing it. It's
Tulsi on that, but if you put Tulsi and Crenshaw in a fucking room together, I'd be on Crenshaw's side. I'd be like, you know what, Dan Crenshaw probably knows more about, I feel like he could articulate the practical solutions, which to me, that's always been the difference between being what is considered conservative and a progressive. It's idealism and feelings versus practical solutions and the nuts and bolts of what works and what doesn't work, which is why when we were talking about the religion thing, I think fucked up conservatives for a long time, because then all of a sudden you got this other different type of idealism and magical thinking in the conservative party, when you're not really supposed to give a shit about that. You're supposed to go, yeah, we're all Christians. We go home, we go to church, we pray. I want churches to be open. I want people to go to fucking church, but I don't want it dictating fucking policy. And that's the thing. It's never really did before. It was actually, we were really good at keeping church and state separate until about the fucking 70s, when all of a sudden everybody, and started by the way with Jimmy Carter, and everybody wanted to jump on it and be like, yeah, the religious vote, we're the most Christian.
That's ironic, right? That's ironic.
Yeah, isn't it? He was the first born again Christian president. And then Republicans saw that and went, oh, we're more religious than that motherfucker. Let's go to the religious angle. And all of a sudden, then it's you get a bunch of these magical motherfuckers in there. I don't want magical motherfuckers. I don't want people who go, maybe your car could fucking, work with, maybe a Minotaur could carry you to work. It's yeah, maybe. But you know what? Until we figure that shit out, we got to fucking burn some fucking gas, dude. And while we're burning gas, in the meantime, you can't kill. It's not going to hurt Amazon to raise gas prices. It's going to hurt every small, the landscaper, the construction worker, all those guys. It would be great if we just had some magic battery we fucking put in and everything just worked and we had free energy for everyone and everyone held hands and ate peanut butter and fucking banana sandwiches. It just doesn't fucking work like that.
But it won't pay for itself. We have to pay taxes on it like we do for our roads and everything else.
Well, that's the thing. I'm also not a fan of, okay, so we're going to get this amazing technology, so let's tax the shit out of people even more. It's how about this? How about we let the private sector do what it fucking does, and make no mistake, we will get off oil when every drop of oil is sucked clean from the fucking earth. That's the only way we'll fucking do it.
Jesus Christ.
And it is
But it's not efficient. It's only 38% efficient, and we're just getting ripped off. Even Henry Ford was thinking about different green technologies. He was even trying to fuel his car with hemp. So it's like it's been going on for a long time, and then Rockefeller made that impossible. He's like, I want people to buy my oil, and the oil industry has been doing it ever since.
Well, and you know what? And that's cool. And you know what? But whatever happened, whoever won the energy war of 100 fucking years ago is at this point in time inconsequential. We can't change what happened before. We can only do what we're going to do moving forward. And the way to get green energy out there moving forward is to make it fucking amazingly efficient. And to make it amazingly efficient, you can't just be like, okay, raise gas prices so it's $9 fucking gallon, and then everyone will be forced to do something else. Because in the meantime, in the 10 years it takes to do that, you're going to cripple your fucking country. And it's just it's a practicality. If you told me tomorrow, like, hey man, plug this cool thing into your fucking gas tank of your Jeep, it's going to cost you like $50 and you never have to pay for gas again. Yeah, I'll buy that fucking thing. But that thing doesn't exist. I wish it fucking did. It just doesn't. You know, like, hey, man, pop this into your engine and it runs on French fries. It's like, oh, cool. Yeah, let's do that. But it doesn't exist. And to rebuild every engine in the fucking country and to tell people who just go, no, I just want to fill up at the pump. Okay, well, it's going to cost you $10 a fucking gallon, you fucking momo. It's like, that's not fair, especially in a country as big as ours. We're driving and truck driving. And here's the thing you have to understand about gas. Everything you have in your house, look around. It all came on a fucking truck, which means that if gas price doubles, every item that you need to buy and that you own, your Q-tips in your fucking bathroom, everything goes up. Which means that, okay, well, we could raise the minimum wage. Great, but if everyone is raised to the minimum wage, it means less people are going to have jobs. And small businesses are going to close because the guy who used to have 3 employees working for $10 an hour can now only afford 1 employee. So now 2 of those people are on the fucking unemployment line. No one's hiring because minimum wage is so fucking high. And the price of food, the price of everything has just fucking gone up. And you can't even drive anywhere to look for a fucking job because it's $10 a fucking gallon. Like, yeah,
right now, the UPS and FedEx and all that stuff, they're trying to work deals out with Tesla and stuff like that to get all their fleet turned over to the batteries. So it's happening. We just got to jump on it.
That's great. But even those batteries, you have to plug into something, which means they have to burn something to put something into the fucking battery, which means you're burning coal. You're burning something else. So it's not like I'm not. If somebody pulled something out of their ass tomorrow, and like I said, if they said, hey man, instead of having a gas cap, you screw this little thing on, and a light goes into your gas tank, and that fuels the gas instead of having anything else, and it's cheap as fuck. I'd be like, yeah, no brainer. But in the meantime, it's fucked. In the meantime, it doesn't work. In the meantime, I have friends who have like.
This is what I always think, though, when I'm talking to Dave Wright about stuff, and he says these pipe dream things, and I'm like, I don't know how to enunciate it though, like you do. You really put it in perspective. You. No, you do. Really.
He's not. But that's the thing. He's not like being an asshole.
He's retarded because he doesn't know from real life.
Because I disagree with you.
The tires are made out of how much fucking oil?
Dude, listen. What I'm pissed off about.
Bitch.
Listen, Guido.
What?
The America, we pump so much oil that we're exporting it now. So why do we worry about what Saudi Arabia does and what everybody else does? Well, why are we even still going over there? If we cut them off, they'll go. Everybody will be going back to the way it used to be. Everybody will be trading again. There won't be any more freaking wars or anything like that.
I would love to get everybody trading again, but guess what, Dave? Not for long, buddy, because we're cutting the Keystone Pipeline. We're stopping fracking.
But that Keystone Pipeline was for exporting oil. Is because Canada didn't want to refine their oil, so it was just a way for them to get it down there. But they're using our taxpayers' money to pay for the land.
You're against the pipeline, aren't you?
Because it means more money is coming into the fucking country. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So when we're doing that, and that's trade right there. We don't want to refine our oil. Great, let's make this fucking pipeline, and then we get money for this. You get money. And when I say we, not the government, private industries handle it amongst themselves. everything works out fucking great. That's what happens when you let the free market decide shit. When you try and force shit by the government mandating you have to shut down a pipeline and saying, oh, you can't frack anymore. Fracking's done. That's what we heard, right? Fracking's done. Well, that's one of the many things that's been keeping the fucking price of gas down because of the miracle that is fracking. And when you do all this and you go, okay, let's turn it all off at once and hopefully green energy, hopefully windmills pick up the fucking slack. It's like, that would be great. The problem isn't even the windmill or the solar thing. The problem is we need a battery that could actually hold the energy that's collected by these things, which is apparently a long ways away from being fucking made. So
no, actually, there's dry cell technology. I talked to Bobby about it before. There's a new technology coming out. It has to be mined. No nickel has to be mined. It's all natural materials.
Everything's fucking natural. But what I'm getting at,
it's not. It doesn't anything. No special mining like nickel and cobalt and whatever. And
my point being, it has to be. It has to be better than gas. It has to be better than oil, and it's unless it's just as good, if not better. And I hear that Tesla is a fucking great car. That's awesome. Well, guess what?
It's too expensive.
Old Paul can't afford one. And
yeah, me neither.
Didn't our noble chairman buy one with his GoFundMe money? Oh shit!
I believe he did, because I believe he couldn't make it to Milo's show one day because he didn't plug in his Tesla and he had to sit at a fucking charging station for however long. It was
that was when was that? Wait a second. No, that was a long time ago.
Like 6 months ago, maybe.
Oh, that was 6 months ago. Okay.
I think that was part of Milo's show, because I think I jumped on the show that day because they were like, yeah, Enrique was supposed to be on, but he didn't charge his Tesla. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding.
No, he just purchased one, but I'm going to have him on soon. He'll be on soon. I think I'm going to get him on with the Israelites, because I want the Israelites to yell at him.
No, I think that would be terrific to hear Enrique do his Enrique smile and just go, well, let me tell you. But my point being is, like, no one is against, hey, we got something better than gas, so why don't we use it? But everyone is against, hey, we don't have that thing yet, but in the meantime, let's fuck over everyone else. And by the way, when I hear that, like, oil companies make record profits, the phrase record profit doesn't give me the heebie-jeebies. You're supposed to make profits. And by the way, in the oil and gas industry, if something does come out next year, they're going to have record losses forever and always. So if they make like a 20, 40, 50,000 $1 billion profit or whatever, who gives a shit? Yeah, and then you know what? In 50 years, they might be totally out of business and everyone there might be out of a job. In the meantime, when you have like pipelines and all this other shit, all those people as of today are out of a fucking job. All the people working in like the fracking and energy industries are fucked. They're not hiring anymore. They're firing people. This is all horrible for the fucking country.
This is totally stupid, idiotic shit.
This pandemic sucks.
Has nothing to do with the pandemic. Has everything to do with
I'm talking about Joe Biden because
Joe Biden,
yeah. Everything to do with who we just voted in.
The pandemic has been
him and Obama turned their backs on the American people in 2007, 2008 housing crisis. He just let all the American people lose their houses.
But that's the thing. It's like, who is doing all this shit? Like why are they doing their shit? And when you look at, when you're talking about getting money out of politics, okay, well, who's giving millions and millions of dollars to Joe Biden? Amazon, Twitter, Facebook, Google. Oh, okay. What do they have to say about Joe Biden? They have to say that you're not allowed to post about his son's computer.
Yeah.
They have to say that he's the greatest person who's ever fucking lived, and don't you forget it. Okay, what do they have to say about Trump? Oh, you're not even allowed to Google fucking Trump. Like, if you Google Trump, like all just horrible articles about how he's the worst person who's ever lived come up. It's like,
and you have to go to number 10 to find anything good about him.
Dude, all you have to do is see that. If you're not retarded, you can put it together. Oh my God.
And then you hear about fucking, so what's Biden doing that Google and Amazon and Twitter and Facebook might like? Oh, he's doing crazy deals where we're going to get fucked by China, but it means that Amazon's going to get like cheaper shipping that they could outsource.
Walmart, everybody.
But that's the thing. It's like, Walmart didn't get fucked. If you raise the minimum wage to $15 or whatever, Walmart isn't going to get fucked. It's going to be the guy down the street who has like a fucking general store. He's the guy.
Look at this pandemic. Like the grocery store staying open and everything else closed. What's the point? I don't get it.
Right, and Walmart basically went, we're going to classify ourselves as a grocery store now, and everyone just went, yeah, okay, whatever. Because I don't want Walmart to close either. I use Amazon. I get it. Whatever. It is what it is.
It's just be fair.
But what I'm saying is, it's like when you see these companies that are like literally evil supervillains are fucking running them. And then you see who they give their money to, and then you see what he's doing, and he's doing things like fucking with oil. He's fucking with China, where he's like, we got to do, and everything has to be done for climate change. This mystical fucking climate change bullshit. Here's the thing: people ask themselves the wrong questions about climate change. They just go, do we have to sign the Paris Climate Accord? It's like, okay, you're asking the wrong question. Here's the questions you should be asking: how bad is it? Can we do anything about it? And is conservation, which has never worked for fucking anything, going to possibly work for this? Because the answer to that is no, no, and no. And also, how bad is it? So is it so bad that all the water is going to fucking kill everyone? No, it's not that bad, and it's not going to be that bad. That's why we're in this period called the big freeze or the pause or whatever, because they were like, by 2014, everything's under New York City exists and we're fine. And there's no sign of New York City being underwater any fucking time soon. Every time there's a hurricane, they're like climate change. And it's like, yeah, hurricanes have always fucking happened.
Wow. I was there for Sandy.
I was there for Sandy, but all this shit where they're like, it snowed. Yeah, it snows every winter. All these people who get freaked out by fucking snow, I'm like, yeah, man, I live in New Jersey. It snows all the fucking time. So what? It is what it is. Like, I don't like it either. It just happens. It has nothing to do with fucking climate change. Oh, the Earth is going to be a degree and a half fucking warmer. Okay, is that really going to destroy all fucking life? Well, if the answer is no, then maybe we shouldn't just be sinking money into bullshit that comes out of my pocket and your fucking pocket. Oh, and also your business's pocket, because they're going to go, if you own a business, according to Joe Biden, you're a rich fucking man. Oh, you opened up a little fucking .com business? Oh, Bobby, you have a t-shirt business? Oh, that's too fucking bad, because that means you're rich. So we're going to tax the shit out of you.
No.
That's what they do.
Fuck that. It's bullshit.
But that's what I mean. And it's like, you look at where their interests lie. Who's funding Joe Biden? Wall Street is funding Joe Biden. As we've now seen, this is a rigged fucking game.
Can I just say something really quick? Who's
funding the establishment Republicans?
Can I say something that's totally...
Same people in a lot of cases, but not Amazon, not Google, not Twitter.
Can I please say something that's totally unrelated, possibly, maybe related, but I think that Joseph McCarthy was right. That's it.
That we should kill all Mexicans?
Joseph McCarthy was right, dude. All the Reds, all the commies are in Hollywood, basically, and they were in there before, man, and they knew that they were infiltrating. And they are the ones who churn out all this propaganda, man. And that's what shapes the culture. All the circuses. What is it? What is it? Whatever. Bread and circus.
The circuses.
Bread and circus. Something like that.
No, well, but also you have to look at. I respect a guy like Trump who goes, "I'm a rich guy. I want to pay as little in taxes as possible. I hire very smart people to make sure I could use every loophole that the Democrats put in there to do, because why would I pay any more than I have to? And I like money. I want to keep as much of it as possible. I want to invest that money." I respect that over a guy like Bernie who goes, "We should be taxing people at 90%. This is fucking crazy." And then you find out, oh yeah, by the way, he has 3 houses. Oh, and he released his tax return. And guess what he paid? The least minimum fucking possible. So guess what? Bernie, socialist, communist, I vacation in the USSR Sanders, he isn't Mr. I Feel Charitable on April 14th. He's not throwing his money. He's not going to TurboTax. He's fucking spending as little money as possible on his fucking taxes. Same as everyone. Same as the president.
Yeah, but you can't bash Bernie for selling a couple books.
He can sell whatever the fuck he wants. I'm a capitalist. My problem with him isn't that he's selling his books. My problem with Bernie is that he's fucking selling his books, and it's good for him. But if you want to sell books, if you want to do this, he wants to rape you in fucking taxes. Well, but Bernie, I'm making a whole lot less than you are. Well, pay your fair share, you 1%er you, as I fucking drive to my beach house in fucking Vermont. Like,
yeah, but you're gonna go out to FDR. He was rich, and Teddy Roosevelt was rich. I mean, what's in to that aspect? Bernie's just a working man. He flies coach. He travels on the subway. That's why people love him.
He's a scum. He's a total scum. And that meme that they have of him, that meme is the best.
He's flown private fucking plenty.
You know, he's not for sale. That's the only thing with him. That's why I like him. I support. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Tulsi, but I love her. She's not for sale. I like politicians that don't take money, and Bernie doesn't.
You
so that's why.
Trump fan I've ever fucking seen then, because that.
I was. I didn't vote for Hillary. I had hope for Trump, but he was supposed to drain the swamp, but he trusted Mitch McConnell and all them. Mitch McConnell came from Kentucky. When he came into office, a broke man in Congress, and now he's worth like $50 million. Why should a politician get paid that much money?
Well, in the same respect, Bernie Sanders not only didn't have a penny to his name, but never had a job in the private sector, ever.
But he was a mayor. But that's just Bernie Sanders. There's other.
He was in his 40s. Up until then, he never had a job.
But that's like me bringing up the argument about Tulsi Gabbard and her opinion with transgender. It's just everybody's going to disagree, but we all got to come together on the main issue.
It's the socialist thing that they do where they don't really have experience, but they think of themselves as being super smart because they went to fucking some class that told them that communism's awesome and equality, this magical...
No, communism, fascism will never work in this country.
Well, Bernie...
It would never happen.
It's great.
Bernie, if he was a commie, nobody would vote for him. And then I wouldn't support him. Then I'd denounce him.
Well, then you should...
But I got to see proof. See proof.
Yeah, from his own lips, he was a guy who was fucking supporting Hugo Chavez.
To God's ears.
He just said it, but just because he went to USSR doesn't mean he's a commie. That's like me going to, hey, I went to, but just saying, it's just like saying me going to Jamaica means I smoke weed.
No, but one of the when he went to USSR, which I didn't even bring up yet, but I will. He did it on his honeymoon when no one was going there because it was a communist shithole, but he saw it as like this progressive utopia, and he fucking went there. But this is a guy who, from his own lips, supported Hugo Chavez in Venezuela, said he was like one of the greatest leaders who's ever fucking been. That guy was communist as the fucking red in the Chinese flag. He supported Maduro. He supported fucking Castro. He fucking defended.
But that's like what I'm hearing Hillary supporters say about Trump. All the shit they say about Trump is like, okay, then I just don't believe it. You know what I mean? I just don't see it.
You don't have to. I've watched. You don't have to believe it, but it exists. I've watched Bernie talk about Fidel Castro like he was fucking the greatest guy in the world.
But also said Trump. I heard Trump say he's going to grab her by the pussy. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean Trump's a piece of shit. You know,
one is a joke. One is, what world leaders do you want our country to be more like? And he's like, Fidel Castro. It's not like somebody on a fucking bus 30 years ago said to Trump, like, how do you think the economy should be run? He goes, I think we should grab them all by the pussy. It's like they were making sex jokes like all fucking guys do. So who gives
but I'm not using that against Trump. I'm not shady like that. I don't hit below the belt.
What I'm getting at is it's a total false equivalency. One is, hey Bernie, where do you stand on like world politics, and who do you think is someone to admire? And he's going, Fidel Castro. He disagreed with him.
Everybody, there's millions of Bernie followers. They all know that Bernie's a part of. He wants to just finish what FDR started. That's the Bernie branch.
There is nothing.
He's straight up FDR. He wants to finish what FDR started.
I would ask Bernie the same question I asked all of his supporters who go, hey, it's not about communism. It's democratic socialism. You go, great. what about communism don't you like? Because literally every video on YouTube on communism, all just is comments and comments talking about how great Bernie is.
I got a Bernie Sanders T-shirt right here. Actually, it says, "Please throw
I
me,
saw that.
please throw me out of a helicopter."
Yeah, but you know what? There's a reason why millions of people like the guy.
Yeah, because
he's not bullshitting nobody.
No, there's millions of people who are super fucking confused of how things actually work, and they have that idealistic streak in them that all communists have, where their whole idea of how things ought to work is, well, if everything was utopia, and it's like, no, our life isn't utopia. I hate to fucking tell
It's
people.
It's not, Dave. You
like, it's
stupid.
never going to be.
No, listen, like I always say, America would never be a fascist or a communist country. Never.
Okay.
I do not support either one, and I never will.
I don't think.
And I seriously don't believe it's never going to happen.
Well, we're not
Bernie
fascists.
Became president. It's not like he could wave a magic wand and turn the country communist. And here's the thing: socialism and communism only work on desperate people. Like, when I say desperate, I mean people who are starving and like, we need food somehow. And some guy comes along and says, "Okay, I'm the socialist guy. Vote for me and we'll give you food." And they go, "Fine, we'll vote for you, whoever." But that's the thing. It's like FDR, by the way, I hate to fucking rain on the FDR.
Yeah, but everybody has their flaws. I can bring up any flaw in every president.
Yeah, but some flaws matter more than others. For example,
I mean, he put Japanese in cages.
Yeah.
All right,
No, stuff like that.
guys, we can talk all night long.
Not about the Japanese.
We can talk all night long, right? It's we already hit 3.
Dude, I just had surgery today. I feel great.
Dude, that's great. That's great.
No, I had a Euro lift.
What is that?
I'm only a Euro lift.
What is that?
I had an enlarged prostate, so they had to open it up.
Okay.
Nice. You had a hysterectomy. That's crazy.
Yeah, 42. That's the crazy part.
Prostate.
But hey, I feel
fucking fist.
Yeah, but I feel good now. I'm starting to feel better. No more. I don't feel infections anymore.
I love that, man, and I hope that I want you to get back on your feet and really quickly.
100%. I'm my mind's there, man. I'm ready. Like, I want to run a mile right now. I feel like.
Now listen. Let's let. What I would like to do is, please, Paul. We never got a chance to talk about you and where people could find you and stuff, and like. Do you have any links or anything like that, or anything you want to sell?
I think well, here's the thing. This isn't even a true plug, because I was about to say, I'm about to announce something for the first time ever on your show. Just happens to work out, because right now, new company that I'm working with called American Waste Creations. If you go to Instagram at American Waste Creations, or go to Twitter at American Waste Co., you could find us. We literally just built these pages this week, so we have no followers. We need all the Bobby Pickle people to jump on there. I'm about to tell you why. I'm about to start selling people's original work on there, including some T-shirts and shit. But I'm talking about movies. I'm talking about books. So my big announcement today is that it is finished. The first ever Proud Boy book will be in publication.
Wow. Are you serious?
Wow.
I am dead ass. The book within the next 90 days.
So you successfully pulled off the Hunter S. Thompson, the guy who's right behind me. You infiltrated, you gonzo journalists did the Proud Boys, and then so that
I cover all the rules of the club, and I cover my experience in all 4 years.
I do hate you. I do hate you.
I mean, I had to do last minute changes on it to even talk about the Capitol stuff and how we fit into that, or how we felt, or how I felt, and all this other shit. But the book title is called Kill Proud Boys, and it's mostly going to focus on how the media turned us into social pariahs. I want everyone to I want everyone to go to American Waste Creations on Instagram, like that. I want everybody, or follow that. I want everyone to follow us on Twitter at American Waste Co. And I want, when Parler's back up, I'm Pawl Bazile, Paul with a W, Bazile with a Z on Parler. So PAWLBAZILE. And when Parler gets it, I'm mostly going to use Parler to promote this thing. But this book is coming out, and I've been busy during COVID. 2 more fucking books are coming out right after it.
Wow.
Including a strip club book that I'm very happy with.
I'm getting a bunch of...
All the worst strip club stories. It's going to be called No Refunds, but that's not as close to publication as Kill Proud Boys. So I will announce on the Bobby Pickles show, and I'm going to be back when I'm ready to, whatever, do pre-orders or sell the fucking book or whatever. When I have more news, I want to come back on the show and talk about it, because this book is fucking tremendous and took like 4 years of fucking research to write this thing, and I've been thinking about it for a long time. And when COVID hit, I said, you know what, man, I'm going full at it, and I'm gonna get this piece of shit fucking published. I guarantee you that.
Hell yeah, dude!
Congratulations on that.
Hey, thank you, man. Well,
hard work pays off, man.
I hope so. We're about to find out, because I right now, that's the other thing. I lost all my social media along with everybody else, so that's the thing. I'm rebuilding with this book, and also my movie American Nightmare is going to be re-released. I have other shit that's coming out, and I'm going to rebuild and use all this stuff around it so I could actually show people what I'm about, rather than just like have a Twitter account and fucking, tell people what breakfast I ate today.
Show, don't tell.
The work. Yeah, I want to show people the work that we put behind our shit. And also, it's not just politics. American Waste is going to show people a lot of different facets of creativity. Being a conservative is one aspect of my fucking personality. I also, know a lot of shit about music, about movies. I bounced at a strip club for fucking years. So all this shit is going to be rolling down the fucking hill very, very soon. I want everyone to get on top of it and, start following now, and you'll be updated on when we have pre-orders out or, anything else we're going to do. But it's getting, I'm on the phone every day with different publishers. I just need to really pick one, and I'm between 2 or 3 companies right now to actually put the book out. But once I agree to it, it'll be out in a matter of months, and it'll be in bookstores and on Amazon for a little while until they realize who the fuck wrote it. And so that's what we're doing now.
Well,
so
congratulations,
I
Paul.
appreciate you having me on the show, man. I'm proud to announce.
Hey, thank you for talking with me. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
we got to chat again sometime.
Absolutely, man. And good luck with the prostate.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
So Dave would like to plug his prostate.
Yes.
Hey, Bob, you gotta get your prostate examined. You gotta look at prostate milking.
Okay, yeah. I will.
Are you volunteering?
No, I'm not doing that. I'm good. I like women too much.
Good.
To each your own.
Dude, thank you so much for thinking of me today and having me on. I can't wait to pop on again.
Hell yeah, man. This has been great. 3 hours and 10 minutes. That's how long we've been going.
We could go fucking longer, man. We could go longer.
Oh, we hit the Joe Rogan.
Bobby, look at his eyes are closing.
We hit the Joe Rogan time right now.
Next time I'm going to pop the book open and read from it in its entirety.
Well, I would definitely like to read that book, man. And I love, I appreciate anybody who's a writer and stuff like that, and who's, that's so cool, man. And you're right for Censor.tv as well, right?
Yeah, but that's not important.
What do you mean that's not important?
I write the news for Censored.tv, but it's one of those things it's
copywriting.
Check it out. Get your news from there and whatever. But
copywriting.
Yeah, mostly. It is what it is. It's not really here's my opinions or how I saw it. It's more just straight up news. So if you want to get your news, go to Censor TV, and there's all sorts of cool shows on there, and Gavin's on there, Milo's on there, and whatnot. So go check that out.
Loomer's on there?
Ew. How dare you?
Well, she's on there, right?
It's like, yes, we also have a filthy donkey witch in a cage who's on there. And a lot of stuff goes on there. So, but I mean, like I said, mostly the thing I'm doing, because my whole thing that I really came to Jesus with this past 4 years is, if you want anything for yourself, you have to put it out yourself, and you have to fucking make it happen yourself, which is why the whole American Ways thing, like, I'm getting together some really talented people and good artists to sell their comic books, to sell their books, to sell their DVDs, their music and whatever. Cool people who have open minds, who fucking don't just go, oh, you have to be progressive to fucking do shit on my site. I want to just have anyone who's good. I don't give a shit.
I like that.
Politically,
that's awesome, man.
I want to have good people. That's it.
I'm glad we're connected, Paul. That's so cool. Hell yeah,
yeah, man.
Fuck
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, are we? I guess we're done.
Proud of your boy.
Uhuru, brother.
Uhuru, brother. Dude, it's been great having you on, man. Thank you very much. Bobby Pickles Podcast, baby. That's it. And we are out.
Nice. Thank you, man.
He always says that's
cool.
Look on his face, we'll talk about anything.
Hey, we got definitely do some
T-shirts, politics, history, and hot talk on everything.
Wait, I'm just listening to songs. Sorry.
Documentaries, conspiracy theories, sarcasm,
It's all
and
punk
fear.
rock.
It's a conversation, start listening, cause we're all here.
Yeah, Bobby, you need anything to or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. Yes.